online at crazygundealer.com. Follow us and get a freebie by texting crazy to 24587 or give us a call at 855-329-4867. That's 855-329-GUNS. And don't forget, we pay trade and loan more for your old guns, too.
All offers and promotions subject to change or restrictions. See store for complete details.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my foundation company, Abacus Foundation Repair. The cooler temperatures of fall can bring weather changes that can bring changes to the soil around your house. And man, that can mean cracks in the sheetrock, doors that are sticking. If you even think you got a foundation problem, please call the right company first. And that's Abacus Foundation Repair, 972-406-9000. 972-406-9000. They will map your house with the skill of an engineer, looking for possible causes. Maybe it's a plumbing issue or something, so the problem doesn't recur. If you don't need a new foundation or any kind of new pilings, they'll tell you. But if you do, you've called the right people. $1,000 off from Abacus, $1,000 off any job of 10 pilings or more. Not just any pilings, Millennium Composite Pilings, the only company that has them for the strongest foundation solution. You will be taken care of. You will be happy. You did call the right company. 972-406-9000, 972-406-9000, or abacusfoundationrepair.com.
Attention investors, your IRA or 401k may be at risk again. The stock market crash of 2008 wiped out as much as 50% of IRA and 401k accounts. Can you afford to lose again when the next crash comes? What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you could see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer a portion of your retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually hold them in your hands, where you can get your gold fast in a disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 800-413-0109, 800-413-0109, and receive a free gold and silver IRA guide. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, Augusta Precious Metals enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 800-413-0109. That's 800-413-0109. 800-413-0109.
The last thing I wanted to inherit from my mom was her varicose and spider veins. Then it happened. Embarrassing, bulgy, naughty-looking legs. Not to mention the pain and swelling. I just couldn't stand it anymore, so I went to Vein Clinics of America.
Vein Clinics of America is the oldest, largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S., and for 35 years, they've been the leading expert in the treatment of vein disease. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as an hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by your insurance.
My legs look great and feel great. I even love wearing dresses again.
Whether it's a family gathering or office formal, make sure your legs look and feel their best this fall. Call now and schedule a free fast-track consultation to find out how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Space is limited, so call 800-300-3388. That's 800-300-3388. 800-300-3388.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-600-6316. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-600-6316. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-600-6316. 1-800-600-6316.
660 AM The Answer. 660amtheanswer.com. Isn't thinking so much more fun than getting yelled at? The Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. Going through some of the things happening in the Donald Trump transition. And the overarching question is, how is the Donald doing? How is President-elect Donald Trump doing in his transition to the presidency? Is it good? Is it or is it not so good? And why? 866 660 5759. 866 660 5759. Conservative talk show host Laura Ingraham may be the press secretary for the White House. This is according to sources speaking to CNN. Ingram on Fox News said, quote, "I'm honored to be considered for that job and other jobs. We'll see what happens." She cautioned, "I think people are getting a little ahead of the narrative," but she strongly suggested that some sort of Trump administration post is in the works. It's a big decision, but I'm at the point where if my country needs me and if I can do something to actually advance the Trump agenda, which is stuff I've written about now for 15 years, trade, immigration, just renewing America, then I obviously have to seriously consider that, says Laura Ingraham. I would love this. If Donald Trump doesn't do anything else with his cabinet picks, I hope he does this. Yeah. On the short list to head the Department of the Interior. Guess who? Guess who? That's right. Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin should have the job. I really want her to have the job. I want her to head the Interior Department. As Secretary of the Interior, she'd be in charge of overseeing oil drilling, uranium mining, and other energy extraction on 500 million acres of public land. And that would indeed include iconic national parks like the Grand Canyon. The pro-mining policies Trump and Palin would be expected to bring to the interior would mean EWG and other public land advocates would have to resume a fight, thought President Obama's administration settled in 2012 under President George W. Bush. The Interior Department tried to open up a uranium mine nearing the south rim of the canyon. It was a scheme that even the Arizona Republic, once a champion of the so-called wise use movement, denounced as one of the 7 blunders in the world. If Trump does make moves to open up uranium mining around the Grand Canyon, Palin would not stand in the way, judging from her quip in 2011 about opening the Alaska National Wildlife Refuge to oil drilling. If a caribou needs to be sacrificed for the sake of energy independence, I say, Mr. Caribou, maybe you need to take one for the team. And besides, you're delicious. Get in my belly. Okay, so Sarah Palin didn't say that, but I do. I really hope that Sarah gets that job. That would be awesome. Now, just be perfect. Just be perfect.
Should be Katrina Pearson.
I don't know what they're going to do with Katrina Pearson. Oh, you think that Katrina Pearson should be the press secretary?
He's the one that's been outspoken.
Well, I think Katrina Pearson has been one of the most effective of the surrogates for Donald Trump in this entire campaign. She's fiery, man. She's got it. The girl's got guts. She's smart. She's focused. She didn't make a bad move this whole campaign. Not one. I would just text her one word, all in caps. Pearson! Exclamation point, because she was just doing such good work. I don't know what she's going to do, though. I don't know that she could be a press secretary. She was very, very partisan. So, that might be one of those things where it wouldn't necessarily work. Ingram, on the other hand, she is partisan, but she's also got a much bigger perspective from a standpoint that she's been in front of the media for years. I mean, she's been a talk radio host and so on and so forth. That's not a shot at Katrina Pearson. I don't think there's anything that Katrina Pearson could not do. I'm sure she could do the job. Just trying to figure out whether Laura Ingraham might be a better choice. So anyway, we'll see. Continental Resources Chief Executive Harold Hamm is the top of President-elect Donald Trump's list to serve as Energy Secretary. This according to U.S. Representative Kevin Kramer of North Dakota, a Trump energy advisor who confirmed he's also under consideration for the job. In my view, Harold Hamm has the right of first refusal, Kramer told Reuters in a telephone interview. In my view, he's likely to be asked. And because he's a patriot and an American, he's likely to say yes. He is 70 years old. He became one of America's wealthiest men during the U.S. oil and gas drilling boom over the past decade, tapping into controversial hydraulic fracturing drilling technology to access vast deposits of North Dakota's shale fields. Continental spokeswoman Kristen Thomas said there has never been a conversation between Trump and Ham about the position. She declined to speculate on how Ham would respond if asked to take the job. People close to Ham were mixed on the possibility. I think Harold would be a great energy secretary. If the president calls, I think he'd do it, said Mike Cantrell, former vice president of government affairs at Continental, who remains close to Mr. Ham. Another prominent U.S. oil and gas executive who knows Ham and asked not to be named, however, said he doubted that Ham would be willing to leave Continental, maybe more interested in having a strong say in who gets the job. Energy Secretary shortlist members also include venture capitalist Robert Grady, who served as Associate Director for Natural Resources, Energy, and Science at President George H.W. Bush's Office of Management and Budget. And two other sources with knowledge of the situation have other names. Grady did not respond to requests for comment. So there you go. Let's talk a little bit about what's also happening today. Congressional Republicans are poised to act quickly next year to repeal tens of billions of dollars in environmental regulations and other federal rules issued by the Obama administration during the final 7 months in power. As soon as Donald Trump won the presidential election last week, GOP lawmakers began scrambling to research the approximately 180 regulations that have been finalized since mid-May and may be eligible for repeal under a rarely used law called the Congressional Review Act. Republicans can undo any of those regulations they don't like if they act fast after Trump is sworn into office on January 2nd. I'm sure there will be a dirty dozen, says Representative Darrell Issa, when asked how many regulations he expects to be targeted. Issa has a bill before the House this week that would allow the new Congress to repeal multiple regulations at once rather than having to vote on them one at a time. That's going to go through the Rules Committee and Pete Sessions. I wonder what's going to happen there. Among the likely targets, a rule from the EPA to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from commercial trucks and buses, and a rule from the Labor Department to raise the salary threshold for workers eligible for overtime pay from $4.55 a week to $9.13 a week. All right, so it depends on how aggressive the Republicans want to be, said Sam Batkins, Director of Regulatory Policy at the American Action Forum, a nonprofit think tank that describes itself as center-right. All is not roses. President-elect Donald Trump, who clashed with leading Republicans throughout the campaign, faces growing tumult in his national security transition team as key members of his own party appeared to question his views and personnel choices. We're talking about former Congressman Mike Rogers, who is irrelevant. He was a respected voice on national security and thought to be a leading candidate to run for the directorship of the CIA. Was among those who pushed out of the team over the past 2 weeks. Two individuals with direct knowledge said in a series of moves that have added anxiety across the upper ranks of U.S. intelligence agencies. The changes came as Trump met yesterday, or actually this morning, with the incoming Vice President Mike Pence to discuss cabinet and top White House personnel choices. Pence last week replaced New Jersey Governor Chris Christie as the head of the overall transition effort, and Christie's associates, who had been Trump's link to the GOP mainstream for months, now find themselves losing influence. I doubt that will be that much of a big deal when the dust settles. A number of Christie allies told they were no longer in line for top posts, according to several people familiar with the transition who spoke on condition of anonymity to speak candidly. Also today, perhaps the most influential Republican on the national security matters, Senator John McCain, weighed in on Trump's effort to work with Russian President Vladimir Putin, saying any effort to reset relations with Russia are unacceptable. Wonder why McCain would say that. He's the Senate Armed Services Committee chairman. He has a difficult relationship with Trump during the campaign, issued a statement blasting Putin as a former KGB agent who plunged his country into tyranny, murdered his political opponents, invaded his neighbors, threatened American allies, and attempted to undermine American elections. Okay, Senator McCain, fine, I guess. President Donald Trump's national security priorities are modernizing the aging U.S. nuclear arsenal and securing critical infrastructure from cyber attacks. According to greatagain.gov, the presidential transition website, Trump also appears to have shifted rhetoric on terrorism. During the campaign, Trump loudly proclaimed radical Islam to be the key driver of terrorism. The transition website, however, refers only to radical ideologies as the inspiration behind long-term threat of terrorism. Trump criticized the Obama administration during the campaign for its failure to use the term radical Islam in countering Muslim terrorism by Islamic State and other groups. American stature in the world is determined by its values, prosperity, and might, the national security section of the website says in the first public preview of Trump's administration policies. Donald Trump understands how a strong, prosperous economy underwrites its military might and how a strong, robust military secures our way of life and the fruits of our economy. Security threats cannot be resolved unless we define the problem in a way American resources and instruments of power can be applied against them. I suspect that in the final analysis, we will all know for sure, because of words spoken by the presidential elect, that indeed the number one enemy of free thinking, happy people is radical Islamic terror. And I'm sure that's going to be named as such as we move forward. 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. And then there's this. You remember Jose Rodriguez? Jose Rodriguez is a guy who worked for CIA and got caught up in the hullabaloo over what was torture, what wasn't torture, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, in the big mess following the 9/11 attacks. He wants Donald Trump to reinstate currently illegal interrogation methods, including waterboarding and sleep deprivation, when questioning terror suspects. You got to keep something in mind here. One of these guys died in questioning. They took off all of his clothes and set him on an incredibly cold floor in a very cold room for too long, and he died of hypothermia. So, once again, when you start talking about all these people, you have to remember that every single one of them was a war criminal, having engaged in combat on the field of combat without national writ, uniform, or any kinds of regulations of war. That makes them war criminals. They could have been shot on the spot. That one of them died under harsh questioning, I don't care. And the difference between torture and a tough time is permanent physical damage. That's the difference. Every Spec Ops military member undergoes waterboarding. Every single one of them. And every single candidate who wants to be a member of Special Forces signs a release that says one of their minor bones might get broken in training. If it's good enough for Spec Forces for the United States military, it's good enough for degenerate savage terrorists who like to kill kids. I'm just saying. Jose Rodriguez, who actually knows what he's talking about, as opposed to me just surmising, says we have to be able to capture terrorists. We have to be able to interrogate them. We don't do that anymore. Rodriguez was a key architect of George W. Bush's interrogation program following the September 11th, 2001 terror attacks. He wants the Trump administration to drop current cases against CIA officials who helped carry out the controversial measures, and said the president-elect must craft new techniques. Enhanced interrogation techniques are well known to the enemy. We have to come up with new ones. All right. Don't kill anybody. Don't damage them permanently. Don't do it. But get the information you need. Now, that's only for terrorists. Extra-national terrorists without national writ and benefit of any protection in the Geneva Conventions. None of these guys get any of those protections. Any uniformed enemy, soldier, airman, what have you, would certainly be qualified. to not undergo any of these techniques. And that's the long and short of it for me. 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. Mike in Capel has a really good question about John McCain. I'm going to ask him to tell me what it is, and I think what you should do is I think you should listen because it's really, really good. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. I'm friends at Good Feet. Do you know how many Americans suffer from foot-related pain or problems? It's a vast majority. You one of them? Good news. Good Feet stores can help. Good Feet, with over 1 million people they've gotten out of foot pain. Why not you? Fort Worth, Southlake, Plano, GoodFeetDFW.com. Good Feet specializes in arch supports designed to keep your feet and body balanced, supported, pain-free throughout the day. Great for people on your feet all day like teachers, nurses, doctors, construction workers, and a whole lot of other folks. Arch supports that work in all types and styles of shoes to make every shoe more comfortable. Athletic shoes, casual shoes, dress shoes, even high heels, ladies. 20 styles to choose from, not just one support that fits all. 300 sizes, custom fit. Walk out with them same day, pain-free. GoodFeetDFW.com. GoodFeetDFW.com. Southlake, Plano, Fort Worth. Good Feet, America's #1 arch support for over 20 years. Southlake, Plano, Fort Worth. GoodFeetDFW.com.
Do you have low back or neck pain? Does it run down your arms or your legs? Do you have a bulging or herniated disc degeneration, or spinal arthritis? Even worse, have you been told you need back surgery or injections? If you answered yes, then please listen to what I have to say. My name is Dr. Chad Vines, DC, at Genesis Back and Neck, and I use the most advanced spinal decompression system available, the DRX 9000, to correct back problems just like yours. We don't use addictive drugs, and we don't use any type of dangerous invasive surgery for these problems. Spinal decompression is safe, FDA cleared, and it's not painful, and has about an 86% success rate. We accept most insurances, and your first visit will be at no charge. You will sit down and visit with me personally until I've answered all of your questions. And if you're a candidate for decompression, you can try out the treatment all at no charge to you. So if you're ready to not hurt anymore and don't want to have surgery, call me at 817-328-1922. That's 817-328-1922, or online at mylowback.com.
Warning, if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-600-5920. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-600-5920. That's 1-800-600-5920. 1-800-600-5920.
Hey, what's up? This is Michael Tate with the Newsboys. When I think about America today and the state of our world, my heart breaks because of the lack of love. Love can build a bridge. Love can change your heart. Love can change the world. And that's why it's time for a Love Riot.
It's the Love Riot Tour featuring the Newsboys. Sunday, November 20th, 6 p.m. at the Verizon Theater in Dallas. The Newsboys.
It's a night of coming together with family and friends to celebrate the greatest gift of all, love.
Along with special guests, The Afters. And Ryan Stevenson. Tickets available online at premierproductions.com with group tickets starting at $18.50. The Love Riot Tour with the Newsboys. Sunday, November 20th, 6 p.m. at the Verizon Theater in Dallas.
Brought to you by the DBU Concert Series. Tickets at AXS.com.
This is Michael Medved for Relief Factor with an email that came in from Nicole. She writes, I'm 34 years old and I have severe lower back pain for 20 years, and I've been taking prescription painkillers for about 6 to 7 years now. Even when taking those painkillers, it was pain almost every day for me. I'm just completely amazed now that after 2 days of taking Relief Factor, I've had no more back pain. I'm on my 5th day today and so thankful that my fiance suggested that I try this. Thank you, Relief Factor, for giving me my pain-free life back. You should enjoy a pain-free life, too. Everybody should enjoy a pain-free life, of course, and you can do that with Relief Factor. You know what it is? It's all natural. It's a dietary supplement, completely safe. Just read the testimonials. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. Use their quick start to get you set up for 3 whole weeks, just $19.95. relieffactor.com. You have nothing to lose but your pain and the whole world to gain. relieffactor.com.
660 AM, The Answer. Now, the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. His name is Mike in Capel. Mike, what do you think? Thanks for joining us. Hi.
Hi, JD. It's always a great night when I get to listen to you.
Hey, thanks, man.
I'd like to comment that, if I remember correctly, back in the days when this Middle Eastern policy was being formulated by Barack and Hillary, that John McCain went hand in glove with them towards funding these, let's say, middle revolutionary terrorists, if you will, and they turned out to be ISIS. So why does John McCain even have the nerve to express his opinion, given his historical failure at calling benefits to the U.S. in the Middle East?
You know, I think that's a great question. The only thing I can tell you is that why did everybody pay attention to Teddy Kennedy? You know, these old lions of the Senate still get to speak. They wield incredible power. And John McCain's the next one. You know, he's just the next old man of the Senate. And so people will at least have to listen. People who write newspapers will at least have to write John McCain's name down with what he said after it. I mean, you know, that's just the way it goes. I don't know that President-elect Trump cares one way or another, but you know, he's crossed swords with John McCain and lost before, so who knows? You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Well, it doesn't have to. Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity with your solution and the one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. On average, Josh sells a home every 32 hours and averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. He spends 200 times more money on marketing than the average agent. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644 or getsold.net.
Hey, it's Mark Davis from my friends at Climate Evangelista Eye Center. And as Thanksgiving approaches, if 2020 vision is not on the list of things you can be thankful for, now is the time to consider LASIK from Climate Evangelista. And in the spirit of Thanksgiving, feast your ears on this. In November, my friends at Climate Evangelista team up with the Rush Creek Food Pantry to host the Food for Sight Drive to help feed local families. They want you to help. Here's how. Drop 3 non-perishable food or toiletry items to any Climate Evangelista Eye Center location. We're talking Arlington, Plano, or Dallas. Visit LASIKsurgery.com/food drive for a list of items. They'll give you $1,500 off LASIK if you do that. $1,500. 1-800-714-2020 or visit LASIKsurgery.com for details. Remember, Climate Evangelista takes flex spending. They offer interest-free financing, and they have a value match guarantee on comparable technology and warranty. Throw in the $1,500 off and let's go. 1-800-714-2020 or LASIKsurgery.com. Financing with approved credit. Value match restrictions may apply.
Did you pay a lot for that top-of-the-line mattress and it's already breaking down? Time to go to Savin. Eric Nadel for Savin European Sleep Systems. The Savin bed is made with certified organic mattress covers and 100% natural latex foam cushioning, not polyurethane or memory foam. It's more comfortable too, custom tailored for individualized comfort based on your size and sleeping position. Why buy a Savin? Why even consider anything else? It's simply a better mattress. Savin European Sleep Systems. In Dallas and Southlake, go to savin.com.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group. On the NASDAQ as SALM. KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lisa Lacera. A suspect in this afternoon shooting in a parking garage at Will Rogers Airport in Oklahoma City found dead in a pickup truck. The victim, 52-year-old Michael Winchester, was a Southwest Airlines employee.
It's too early in the investigation to figure out the exact motive, although the crime does appear to be premeditated.
Captain Paco Valderrama, the airport was shut down for a time, but has since reopened. While House Republicans overwhelmingly nominated Paul Ryan to serve another term as Speaker, Democrats appear to be in disarray.
Against House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, who has signaled she intends to run to retain her leadership post, the Democratic caucus is beginning to exhibit stirrings of discontent, with hints of a formal challenge in the air. But Democratic lawmakers, even some publicly pledging support to Pelosi, agreed the caucus badly needs changes in direction and tone.
Fox's James Rosen, Fox News. We report, you decide.
660 AM, The Answer.
I'm Aaron Katz. You might remember me from my radio show or my company with Little Red Trucks. Have you ever wondered why some people suffer from irrational fears like fear of heights, public speaking, or needles? For example, needles used to make me sick until I fixed it. It's because most irrational fears are created from a traumatic experience. It's a form of PTSD that affects many people. The good news is that fears from PTSD can be controlled, and you don't need a lot of prescription drugs or years of therapy to do it. As a certified NLP practitioner, I've learned how to help people eliminate their fears and change their lives. I do it by setting positive and negative triggers and activating them simultaneously. The positive neutralizes the negative, and it doesn't affect you any longer. It's the same as combining red dye and blue dye. The red and the blue both disappear, and it leaves purple. If you or someone you know has an irrational fear that's limiting them in some way, I can help. Visit my website, littleredtrucks.net. That's plural, Little Red Trucks, and it's .net. Let's get to work.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, co-owner of Statewide Remodeling. We all know that winter is coming, and if you've been putting off replacing those old leaky windows, now's the time to give us a call, or you can live with the drafts in your home for another winter. The slogan for the overpriced window companies is only rich people can afford cheap vinyl windows. You know, I agree with that cheap part. Don't go that route, but vinyl is a perfect frame product for Texas. And our Restoration vinyl window has a foam-filled fiberglass reinforced frame that is as strong as any frame on the market. But why do they never talk about their warranty? Go to their website, and if you can find anything about their warranty, you'll see it's pretty weak. I won't mention any names, but if you're getting quoted $2,000 per opening, you know who I'm talking about. Go to our website and compare warranties. Then give us a call for a no-cost window evaluation. And right now, you'll get 20% off the cost of your new windows. And while supplies last, you'll receive a free Yeti Tundra 35 ice chest. That's a $300 value with the purchase. And by the way, it's made out of vinyl too. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095.
Oh, it just doesn't matter how many sit-ups I do. My belly just won't go away.
Are you sure you're not just bloated?
Bloated?
Yeah, some people with big bellies actually aren't fat. They're just bloated.
Really?
Like me, I totally used to be plagued by potbelly until I got my free trial of New Biotics. It's like this natural new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. You just have to decrease use if your belly flattening results are too dramatic.
So it works?
Oh yeah. Turns out I wasn't fat, just bloated. My belly flattened and continues to get flatter. So yeah, you're gonna love it. And actually, I think they're even still giving away free trials.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. Find out with a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. But hurry, call now for details while they're still giving it away for free. 1-800-900-1475. That's 1-800-900-1475. 1-800-900-1475.
If you're a business owner, I want you to imagine standing on home plate in front of a sold-out crowd of 50,000 raving fans at a professional baseball game. They give you the microphone and you have 60 seconds to tell the crowd why they should do business with you. Out of 50,000 people, do you think you might get some new customers? Sure you would. Now imagine you could do that in front of 4 sold-out baseball games. That's 200,000 people. Did you know that's how many people listen to 660 AM The Answer every week? And you have the opportunity to stand in front of the 660 AM The Answer microphone and get 60 seconds to tell our raving fans all about your business. Do you think you'd get new customers if you did that? You bet. The businesses you hear on 660 AM The Answer are knocking it out of the park with new customers. If you are open to seeing how much it costs to advertise your business on 660 AM The Answer, send an email request to advertise@ksky.com. That's advertise@ksky.com. Let's play ball.
Hi, I'm Larry Patterson, owner of Glass Doctor. In our disposable society, we're conditioned to throw out the whole thing when just one part goes bad. Like when the insulated glass windows in your home get condensation between the panes. You don't need to replace the whole window. The specialists at Glass Doctor can install new insulated glass in your existing frames with a lifetime warranty for a lot less than you might think. To see how quick and easy it is, visit glassdoctor.com today. That's glassdoctor.com.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint. Oh, yeah!
And now I will tell you about something medically that works. How was that for an intro? I'm about to say it because I never really thought I would. I took Relief Factor as the first pain reliever I would ever endorse because of how it worked for my wife and my colleague Hugh Hewitt. Well, now I can tell you that this thing is just short of some sort of miracle. See, I had an ongoing pain, not terrible, just a pain, and I simply assumed I would just live with it. Then I got some knee pain as a result of some of my workouts, so I decided I would take it for the knee pain, and now both are gone. That's why I think of this as sort of a miracle drug. ReliefFactor.com. All I ask is that you visit their website, and then you decide whether or not you try it out. Clearly, it can't help everybody. There is no such thing. But it certainly helps a lot of people, and now I can include me as one of them. So go to ReliefFactor.com.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Telephone number is the one you use until the cows come home. 866-660-5759. Let me get to Steve in Rosser. Steve, thanks very much for joining us. Hi.
Hey, JD. I just want to make a comparison between what our operatives do that some folks consider torture and what our enemies actually do to us. You know, these Islamic terrorists, they drill little kids with power drills until they die and torture them in front of their families. They put people in cages and catch them on fire and burn them to death. They submerge people underwater in cages alive until they drown. And they film all this stuff. Oh, yeah, and they behead people after torturing them. What our CIA guys do, I remember this a few years ago. I thought this was awesome and creative. Took one of the terrorists, tied him down to where he couldn't move, took a box full of caterpillars, cute little fuzzy caterpillars, told him that this was the most poisonous insect in the world and he was going to die a horrible death if they put him on him, unless he started talking. So they put the cute little fuzzy caterpillars, started placing them on him. He started freaking out and started talking. You know, waterboarding and caterpillars is not torture compared to what these animals do to people.
All right. Thanks much. Appreciate your time. You know, it was amazing to watch that epic show of unbridled arrogance that all those people started throwing out there for consumption by our enemies. We are so superior, we don't do those kinds of things. Oh, really? Yeah, that was really brilliant. That made any prisoners that they had captured of ours, that gave them a much easier life, I'm sure, while it lasted. Idiots. This is what happens. This is what happens when you're never held accountable for your stupid statements. You keep making stupid statements. In the case of Barbara Boxer, who is the Democrat senator, thankfully, who is retiring at the end of this Congress, she introduced legislation today to abolish the Electoral College in the wake of last week's election results that gave Donald Trump the presidency despite Hillary Clinton leading in the popular vote. Quote, "In my lifetime, I've seen 2 elections where the winner of the general election did not win the popular vote. In 2012, Donald Trump tweeted, 'The Electoral College is a disaster for a democracy. I couldn't agree more. One person, one vote.' Yeah, the only problem with that is, Ms. Boxer, is that, first of all, your bill is going to go down to defeat. Donald Trump was wrong. And until I see something done about the security of votes in the United States, meaning American citizens vote in American elections, you are not going to get within 1,000 miles of getting rid of the Electoral College. You're just not. Because as long as election fraud is one of the central strategies of Democrat political thought, you're not going to get a popular vote for president. Never. The reason we have the system we have is to defeat people like you, Senator Boxer. I can hardly wait until she's gone. At least 20 House Democrats, this was big, called on Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi to postpone leadership elections scheduled for this Thursday to give lawmakers a chance to determine what caused the party to perform poorly in last Tuesday's elections. In a letter to Pelosi over the weekend, rank-and-file members urged holding a family conversation aimed at diagnosing the party's shortcomings, according to the Washington Post. Quote, "It's vital that our caucus take the time to listen to the American people, learn the lessons of this difficult election in order to put our caucus in the best position to fight the potentially dangerous agenda of President-elect Donald Trump and to have a realistic chance of taking back the House in 2018. Only by taking the time to find the hard truths can we formulate a comprehensive path forward, which could include the composition of our caucus leadership and roles and responsibilities of each leadership position." Now, these people are correct. The Democrat Party is in complete disarray. In such disarray that they are turning to the craziest people in the entire caucus and what is clearly a failed political ideology in order to find their supposed salvation. The person that they are thinking about changing and try to put in charge is Keith Ellison. Keith Ellison is a radical leftist. He is a crazy man. He believes that if you want to be an American, all you have to do is touch American soil and you're an American. Sorry, Keith, that is not the case. That is a radical, ridiculous ideology that will not go anywhere. What the Democrats need to do is return to an American Democrat Party instead of a socialist, leftist, progressive party. The American people are not going to vote for Democrats again until it's possible to turn our backs on them without them trying to run away with the government. Read Barbara Boxer's attempt to get rid of the Electoral College in the face of Democrat strategy that involves and indeed depends on election fraud to get people elected. These people are just anti-American thugs. The Democrat National Committee needs to find a leader that believes that America is a great place, that believes in American exceptionalism, that believes in all of the Bill of Rights, every single one of them, and fights for those. You have to go back to what this country is. And oh, by the way, what the founder of your party was trying to do. Do you know who that is? Yeah, that's right. That's Thomas Jefferson. Founded the Democrat Party. So here's what you got to do. You got to get back to what is an American citizen? What is an American? What is America? It isn't something that you change for the sake of your own political power. We need Democrats that believe in God. Is that you? Yes, there is a separation between church and state. There is no separation between God and state. God gave us our rights. You keep fighting against God, and you keep fighting against our rights, and we're going to keep making sure that you're out of power. So that's some of the hard thinking the Democrats have to do. Are they going to be able to do anything? I don't know. I don't know. But I am concerned. Why? Because every time there is a malfunctioning Democrat Party, the Republican Party thinks it's an opportunity to become more like Democrats. And that is not what we need. This election showed everyone on the planet that in order to succeed in American politics, you have to be as far away from the Democrat Party as humanly possible. And that includes Republicans masquerading as Republicans who are actually Democrats. And we identified a bunch of those this time too, didn't we? All because of Donald Trump. We, the people of the United States, elected him. We better back him up. Because he's the kind, you're going to say, what, are you crazy? He's the kind of president we ought to have. An American who's made it as an American. Instead of an American president who made it because Bill Ayers thought he was charming in grade school. Seriously? One Democrat National Committee staffer became enraged at interim chair Donna Brazile. That was last Thursday in the DNC's first meeting since Hillary Clinton's unexpected loss to Donald Trump. The staffer, identified only as Zach, had choice words for Brazile in her failure to lead the Democrat Party to victory on Tuesday night. Brazile was giving a post-election rallying speech to a group of approximately 150 DNC staffers when Zach stood up and offered his unfiltered thoughts on her leadership during the 2016 election. Quote, "Why should we trust you as chair to lead us through this?" he asked. "You backed a flawed candidate. Your friend, former DNC chair Deborah Wasserman Schultz, plotted through this to support your own gain and yourself." Zach had more to say. "You're part of the problem. You and your friends will die of old age, and I'm going to die from climate change. You and your friends let this happen, which is going to cut 40 years off my life expectancy." After his tirade, Zach reportedly packed up his belongings and stormed out of the room as Brazile called after him. He then told Brazile that she needed to go outside and explain it to the people there, why she should still be leading the DNC. Any leftist progressive, dirt first, crazy person needs to go to, I don't know what party they would go to, the Progressive Party, I suppose. Come up with your own party. You'd never get elected, but it would be fun to watch. Meanwhile, the White House, for whatever reason, is expecting Donald Trump to uphold U.S. treaties. The United States can be relied upon to uphold mutual defense treaties with its allies, but a trans-Pacific trade deal now looks unlikely. This is what Susan Rice said. In her first public comments since Donald Trump's surprise election win, President Barack Obama's top foreign policy advisor told AFP the weight of the presidency would likely temper Trump's stance. On the campaign trail, Trump suggested many of America's treaty allies are not pulling their weight. Washington may not feel bound to defend them, triggering concerns in capitals that have relied on U.S. protection for decades. Time to pony up. Time to pony up. Regarding Keith Ellison, he is the first Muslim elected to Congress, a leading progressive among House Democrats, already has picked some of the backing up of both the Democrats' party's left, support with Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, and its establishment receiving endorsements from Senate leaders Chuck Schumer and retiring leader, the crazy and nutcase-bound Harry Reid. Ellison is firmly on the party's left. He has a fax line in his office, but his website says they will not respond to faxes for environmental reasons. "Bernie sparked the beginning of the revolution, y'all," said Ellison. "Together we call for climate justice, racial justice, wage justice." Okay, Keith Ellison, that's fine. That is fine. Recriminations aplenty as we take a look at the Democrats. Will they recover from this? Yes or no, and why? 866-660-5759. This is the Wells Report.
Dennis Gibbs, the boat guy here, host of the Big Boat and Outdoor Show, sponsored by DallasBoatsForSale.com. Let me break it down for you. We talk about boats and boating, boat ramps, marinas, lakes and water levels, boat sales, sailboats, sailing, anchoring, sinking, grounding, buying, selling, and enjoying the fun out on the water. You picking up what I'm putting down? If it floats, we talk about it every Saturday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer.
Attention investors, your IRA or 401k may be at risk again. The stock market crash of 2008 wiped out as much as 50% of IRA and 401k accounts. Can you afford to lose again when the next crash comes? What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you could see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer a portion of your retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually hold them in your hands, where you can get your gold fast in a disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 800-413-0109, 800-413-0109, and receive a free gold and silver IRA guide. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, Augusta Precious Metals enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 800-413-0109. That's 800-413-0109. 800-413-0109.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my foundation company, Abacus Foundation Repair. The cooler temperatures of fall can bring weather changes that can bring changes to the soil around your house. And man, that can mean cracks in the sheetrock doors that are sticking. If you even think you got a foundation problem, please call the right company first. And that's Abacus Foundation Repair, 972-406-9000. 972-406-9000. They will map your house with the skill of an engineer, looking for possible causes. Maybe it's a plumbing issue or something, so the problem doesn't recur. If you don't need a new foundation or any kind of new pilings, they'll tell you. But if you do, you've called the right people. $1,000 off from Abacus, $1,000 off any job of 10 pilings or more. Not just any pilings, Millennium Composite Pilings, the only company that has them for the strongest foundation solution. You will be taken care of. You will be happy. You did call the right company. 972-406-9000, 972-406-9000, or abacusfoundationrepair.com.
The last thing I wanted to inherit from my mom was her varicose and spider veins. Then it happened. Embarrassing, bulgy, knotty-looking legs. Not to mention the pain and swelling. I just couldn't stand it anymore, so I went to Vein Clinics of America.
Vein Clinics of America is the oldest, largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S., and for 35 years, they've been the leading expert in the treatment of vein disease. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as an hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by your insurance.
My legs look great and feel great. I even love wearing dresses again.
Whether it's a family gathering or office formal, make sure your legs look and feel their best this fall. Call now and schedule a free fast-track consultation to find out how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Space is limited, so call 800-300-3388. That's 800-300-3388. 800-300-3388.
Want to see what you'd look like if you had a flatter belly? Now's your chance, because for a limited time, we're giving away free trials of Somabiotics, the new discovery that flattens bloated bellies fast. But hurry and call now while we're still giving it away for free. 1-800-700-6617. Strict limit of 1 free trial per household. These free trials are reserved for anyone, male or female, who's looking for maximum belly flattening in minimum time. Somabiotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. So just think how much better you'll look and feel. Want to see what you'd look like with a flatter belly? Now's your chance. But hurry, call now for details while we're still giving these trials of Somabiotics away for free. 1-800-700-6617. That's 1-800-700-6617. If lines are busy, try again. 1-800-700-6617.
What's that?
I'm mapping out my new $1 million idea.
On a napkin?
I'm brainstorming.
You need to go to ideashares.com. They'll help you with the early stages of idea creation or ideation. They'll help you test, protect, and profit from your idea. The internet's most robust idea vetting machine is IdeaShares.
My $1 million idea really can happen.
IdeaShares.com.
That's ideashares.com.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. The Wells Report. Must-hear radio on 660 AM. The Answer.
Mark Thiessen writes in the Washington Post, the safety pin wearing left is aghast at the realization that President-elect Donald Trump could actually follow through on his promise to cancel every unconstitutional executive action, memorandum, and order issued by President Obama on his first day in office. He should do it. He should. The Congress should also pass a law that says the Congress will pass no law that will not pass constitutional scrutiny. In other words, the Congress should not pass a law that violates their oath of office to defend the Constitution of the United States. If they don't know whether a bill is constitutional or not, they probably shouldn't be there. Imagine what our country would be like if people who could actually read served in it. Every president reverses some executive actions of the previous president. After President Obama took office in 2009, he revoked a series of executive orders issued by President George W. Bush, including Bush's executive order barring federal funding for embryonic stem cell research. His executive order barring implementing the Mexico City policy, which bars funding for international groups that provide abortions. His executive order interpreting the Geneva Conventions with regard to the CIA's detention of captured terrorists, and several Bush executive orders limiting the power of labor unions in dealing with federal contractors, among many others. So Obama also used executive orders to reverse Bush's terrorist interrogation policy and order the closure of the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo Bay. Really, Mr. President, all you had to do was try those guys. You give them a complete and fair, impartial trial, and then right after that, a first-class hanging. And you could have closed Guantanamo Bay anytime you wanted to. President Obama is in Greece today. He warned today that Americans and people around the world are going to have to guard against a rise in a crude sort of nationalism or ethnic identity or tribalism taking root amid the populist movements that are gaining currency around the world. Isn't that strange? He starts talking about nationalism, ethnic identity, tribalism. And he doesn't mention 1.2 billion Muslims around the world. Suppose they fit into any of those categories? Speaking at a joint news conference with Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras by his side, Obama refrained from criticizing presidential-elect Donald Trump directly as he discussed the impact of his electoral victory last week. The president made it clear he sees a dark side to the kind of populist movement Trump's campaign embodied, ideals that other conservative leaders are advocating in Europe and elsewhere. We're going to have to guard against a rise in a crude sort of nationalism or ethnic identity or tribalism that is built around an us and a them. And I will never apologize for saying that the future of humanity and the future of the world is going to be defined by what we have in common as opposed to those things that separate us and ultimately lead us to conflict. Did President Obama ever evoke ethnic identity? You know, I somehow believe he did. That tribalism thing. You know, where people who are similar to themselves gather among themselves and live to their own advantage. Yeah. Seems to me that he talked a little bit about that. Yeah. And that us and them thing? Yeah. It was us Democrats and them Republicans, was it not? Yeah, I think so. 866-660-5759. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
It's Baylor Bears football right here on 660 AM The Answer. Join John Morris and JJ Joe as they bring you every bone-jarring hit and sensational touchdown as the Bears compete for the Big 12 title.
Tune in this Saturday as the Baylor Bears battle the Kansas State Wildcats with the pregame at 10:30 a.m. and the kickoff at 11. That's pregame at 10:30, kickoff at 11 this Saturday morning right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity, one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. Josh averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. Josh's clients voted, and both D Magazine and Texas Monthly ranked him as the best real estate agent in Dallas. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644 or getsold.net and start packing.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, owner of Statewide Remodeling. As we approach the holidays, starting a remodeling project is probably not too high on the list of things to do. But if you've been putting off getting an estimate, I would encourage you to call us now. We always get price increases after the first of the year. So although you make your purchase this year to save on a major project, you won't have to pay for it until next year when the work's complete. We can get a window or a siding job done by year end, but a kitchen remodel or a bathroom or a sunroom, they're going to take longer. We also have rebate money right now from manufacturers we use to save you even more. But again, you need to call now. That money's used on a first call, first served basis. The estimate's free, so you have nothing to lose and plenty to save. We only use the best materials available, and we back it up with the longest warranties in the industry. From a company that's been in business for 22 years, I think that means something. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095. Or you can check us out on the internet, online, anytime at statewideremodeling.com.
Listen to what Dave Ryan says about Andro 400.
Andro 400, I really love it. It's amazing to me that I feel so good. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy to walk, energy to play sports. Everything is starting to work again, just like I'm 25. My wife is happy. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man. I'm taking this stuff to the grave with me.
Men, have you lost energy and gained belly fat? Are you feeling stressed out? Fight back with Andro 400, the safe, natural, and inexpensive way to increase your testosterone. For over a decade, Andro 400 has helped men lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel 20 years younger. Go to andro400.com. andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
John Truitt here for Simple Sleep Services. Are you ready to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea? The Simple Sleep system from Simple Sleep Services is a compact, comfortable, custom-fit solution that's proven to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea. It's covered by medical insurance, and many patients are meeting their deductibles this time of year. This may mean less cash out of pocket for you and your partner to get the restful sleep you deserve. No mood-killing mask, no pain or downtime. Just a better night's sleep for you and the loved one next to you. I personally use the Simple Sleep system, and I wouldn't go a night without it. Learn more at simplesleepservices.com or call 469-685-1700. That's 469-685-1700 or simplesleepservices.com. For your convenience, we have offices located in both Dallas and Fort Worth. No CPAP, no surgery, just simple sleep. Call 469-685-1700 or go to simplesleepservices.com. That's simplesleepservices.com.
Hey, what's up? This is Michael Tate with the Newsboys, and it's time for a Love Riot. It's the Love Riot Tour, featuring the Newsboys, along with special guests, The Afters, and Ryan Stevenson. Sunday, November 20th, 6 p.m. at the Verizon Theater in Dallas. Tickets available online at premierproductions.com.
Brought to you by the DDU Concert Series. Tickets at AXS.com.
Saying I don't know is no longer acceptable. This is 660 AM, The Answer. The Wells Report is on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Donald Trump's victory confounded elite pollsters, journalists, politicians, academic experts, captains of industry. They all wrote him off as a fading gas bag. By every conventional barometer, he should have lost big time. His own party largely abandoned him. Former Republican presidents and primary rivals refused to endorse him. Donors bailed on him. His campaign staff was ridiculed as amateurish. Trump became the worst nightmare of the establishment, both Democrat and Republican. But unnoticed during the last month of the campaign was a growing realization among Americans that the supposedly sober and judicious Hillary Clinton was irreparably disconnected. On the eve of the election, Clinton packed her rallies with celebrities. Sometimes the results were bizarre. As, for example, when Jay-Z managed to use both the N-word, the F-word in the would-be president's presence. Millions were unimpressed. The so-called deplorables, irredeemables, and clingers of America certainly did not think the stump of performance of Lady Gaga, Beyonce, or Miley Cyrus resonated themes of amenity or probity. On the probity thing, certainly Miley Cyrus succeeded beyond anybody's wildest dreams. Give the girl a foam finger, and everyone will be crying at the end of the evening. Everyone. I know what probity means. It was a joke. It used to be the Democrats abhorred the role of big money in politics, but Clinton outspent Trump 3-1. Raised more than $1 billion. The plutocracy, Wall Street, Silicon Valley, the great American gilded fortunes of Goldman Sachs, Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, Facebook, Google, were not just Clinton supporters, but strident ones. The old idea of a liberal populist underdog had morphed into a haughty money bag, a huge staff, lots of opposition research, internal pollsters, surfeits of questionable cash donations, politically correct endorsements that the left used to find plastic and inauthentic. That is very good analysis. The Trump campaign, meanwhile, did everything contrary to the establishment playbook. No big name endorsers, no ground game, no celebrity entertainers, unless you count Don King. No sophisticated bundlers, no legions of hired gun political activists or spinners. It was just Donald Trump standing up in front of the United States and telling the truth as he saw it. He was accessible. He talked loudly. He may have spoken too much to the news media. Clinton was secretive and studied, opening up only to pre-screened media toadies. He tweeted promiscuously. He had an entire team to adjudicate each of the permissible 140 characters. She had, rather, an entire team that just checked out her tweet posts. Trump waded into crowds. She was surrounded by a phalanx of handlers. A man from Mars would have assumed the right-wing candidate was the grassroots populist. The left-wing opponent was a big money, big media automaton created by central casting. Guess what? Hillary was a big money, big media automaton created by central casting. From the WikiLeaks John Podesta trove, we learned the proverbial mainstream media was not just biased, but openly colluded with a campaign in a fashion that even the supposed conspiracists on talk radio, me, or at the Drudge Report could not dream up. I told you, and told you, and told you. In this particular case, one of the main villains of this Democrat loss was the fact that Democrats actually believed their press clippings from the mainstream media. And the two groups just kept taking them farther and farther away from America, farther and farther away from we the people, until you could not distinguish a Democrat politician from a supposed news person or journalist reporting the story. Dana Milbank of the Washington Post wrote the Podesta team asking for free research to help denigrate Trump. The widely praised Democrat Party Chairman Donna Brazile leaked debate questions to the Clinton campaign. Did Hillary Clinton, turn in Donna Brazile? Oh no, she used the information so that she didn't look stupid in the debates. Donna Brazile has yet to apologize for her duplicity. Smug pollsters assured voters of a substantial Clinton lead and likely victory at odds of 70 and 80%. A few reliable polls with proven records, USC Dornsife, Los Angeles Times Daybreak, Investors Business Daily, Rasmussen reports, showed a tight race, but they were written off by the establishment. The Democrats deserve the incredible defeat they had. They deserved it. It was indeed a 1964 class disaster. For her part, Hillary Clinton gave a heartfelt pep talk to House Democrats yesterday evening, called on the party to avoid internal division as it moved past the Election Day losses. Clinton, in an 18-minute call that was introduced by her top campaign aide, John Podesta, told Democrat lawmakers she earned more votes than Republican Donald Trump, who handily won the Electoral College and the presidency. No one is sorrier than me, Clinton told Democrats, according to a source on the call. Heartbreaks don't heal overnight. This one won't. Clinton called on Democrats to analyze what happened in the election and not be distracted or diverted in the fights ahead. She told Democrats she was grateful beyond words for their support. Three members asked general questions. Podesta offered to meet with one lawmaker, Gregory Meeks, to go over election results. Here, let's point at people that can't possibly have anything to do with what actually happened, since we just identified the real problem was the candidate herself. Sidney Blumenthal, you know, the Sidney Blumenthal, Mr. X. Longtime Clinton insider Sidney Blumenthal claims that a group of right-wing FBI agents staged a coup d'etat to prevent Hillary Clinton from becoming the next president. Blumenthal, a former journalist who has been nicknamed Grassy Knoll by some in Clinton world because of his tendency to latch onto conspiracy theories, made the charge in an interview on Dutch television after Clinton's loss to Donald Trump. It was the result of a cabal of right-wing agents of the FBI and the New York office attached to Rudy Giuliani, who was a member of Trump's campaign. Yeah. I don't think it's not unfair to call it a coup. It may not be unfair, but it certainly is inappropriate. Yeah, it wasn't a coup. It was the fact that these people deserve to lose. For her part, Hillary Clinton cast blame for her surprise election loss on the announcement of FBI Director James Comey days before the election that he had revived the inquiry into her use of a private email server. In her most extensive remarks since she considered the race to Donald Trump, Mrs. Clinton told donors on a 30-minute conference call that Mr. Comey's decision to send a letter to Congress about the inquiry 11 days before the election had thrust the controversy back into the news and prevented her from ending the campaign with an optimistic closing argument. There are lots of reasons why an election like this is not successful, said Mrs. Clinton. But she added, our analysis is the Comey's letter raised doubts that were groundless, baseless, proven to be, and stopped our momentum. You know, sort of like when Harry Reid said that Mitt Romney had never paid a dime in taxes. Is that what they're talking about? Oh, but now the shoe's on the other foot. Right. Steve in Colleyville, welcome to the Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer. Hello.
Hey, I love listening to your show every night.
Thank you, man.
When we saw the election results come in, I looked at my kids and I said, what's this the greatest example of? And my son sat there and he puzzled, and my daughter puzzled, and I said, remember the saying, beware the toes you step on today, they may be attached to the butt you have to kiss tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.
everybody's being nice now. Everybody wants to be Trump's friend. And I said, this man did it. I said, it reminds me of even of the nursery rhyme with the chicken who says, who will help me grow the wheat? Who will help me reap the wheat? Who will help me sow the wheat? And everybody says no, but once the bread got baked, everybody wanted their little piece.
Yep.
But I love listening to your show, sir.
Why, thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate that. I love doing the show. This is something that I'll tell you, man, this was something that vindicated all the work that we've done. You know, this has been a hard road. I don't know that you've listened to it or not, Steve, but man, this took a lot out of us. We imagine coming to work every single day and looking at the obvious evidence before you, and then read from very serious and very credible news sources that what you read every single day was completely wrong, that what you surmised was not correct, what you had plainly figured out with obvious logic was somehow wrong every day for a year and a half. I mean, I had to think about stuff multiple times over and over and over again because I kept getting contrarian information from people that should be real journalists doing a real journalistic work, and they just weren't. Some of it was easy, some of it wasn't. But at the end, we knew that Donald Trump was going to win, even though we were told that he didn't have a chance. And we watched two different channels count up the Electoral College votes. ABC kept Hillary ahead by judiciously picking the states that they would announce and that they would say Hillary has won this and so on and so forth. Until about 10:30, Hillary was ahead on the ABC scorecard. By that time on Fox, we were just waiting for Ohio had already happened. We were waiting for Pennsylvania and Florida. Waiting for Georgia, of all places. It's been incredibly hard. All of this. People calling me for years now, telling me that they were frightened of Obama and what he was going to do. And I said that this country was bigger than one president. And I believe that. But I didn't think that we'd be able to get past a Hillary Clinton presidency after 8 years of Barack Obama. And look at what's happened. The election of Donald Trump has shown the corruption of the Republican Party leadership, the corruption of the Democrat Party in general, the corruption of the mainstream media. And now we get the corruption of the American left who run our schools, filling our kids' heads with Donald Trump isn't the president, not my president, not my president, not my president, and then excusing them from school to go run in the streets. The next time someone comes up to you and says that these conservative ideas that you believe in for your school kids are wrong, you need to tell them to sit down and shut up. They've had a good half-century run. And now we've got kids in high school, junior high school, some elementary school kids, openly protesting against American freedom and liberty. And the reason that they do that is because the people who are teaching them that are anti-American, leftist, progressive, socialist thugs. You need to sharpen up your resumes. It's going to get real cold in Socialistville, especially if you're a teacher. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM, The Answer. Oh, you don't have to tell me. I'm pretty sure you believe that you're stuck. You're stuck on whether or not you're going to switch from your big, bloated liberal cell phone company to Patriot Mobile. Hi, I'm John David Wells from the Wells Report. It's time for you to stop thinking about inertia. Stop thinking about being stuck and worrying so much. It's time to get this done. Patriot Mobile makes it easy. You get to keep your telephone number. You get to pick your phone. It'll be brand new, shiny, and the one that you want. You won't have to wait 2 years for your big, bloated cell phone company to pick one for you and say, okay, you can now spend $400. You pick your plan, you're good to go. All these big, bloated cell phone companies are liberal. They take your money and donate it to politically liberal causes. So how about this? Work with a cell phone company that's right around the corner from where you live. They live in Southlake, by the way. They believe in conservative values. Check out Patriot Mobile. Call 1-800-A-PATRIOT. That's patriotmobile.com or call 1-800-272-8746. Right now, use promo code WELLS at checkout. WELLS, W-E-L-L-S at checkout. And waive activation fees for your first 2 lines. That's WELLS at checkout. Waive activation fees for your first 2 lines with Patriot Mobile. Give them a buzz right now. That's give them a buzz right now at 800-272-8746. Tell them you heard about it on the Wells Report.
More of the Wells Report is coming up next on 660 AM. The Answer.
This is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'd like to invite you to join me for our talk show every Sunday morning. We're actually trying to convert the world to organics. We talk about the natural organic program for farming, ranching, gardening, and pest control. Also, a lot of talk about health issues for animals and people. Hope you can join us for all the fun.
Make sure to tune in to Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer. You need a plan as you get closer to retirement. A plan that'll take you from where you are now to the retirement that you've always dreamed about. The first step on that path is to tune into the Wealth Smart Radio Show, Sundays at 7 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer. You only get to retire once, so it's really important you do it right. And your host, Reed Johnson, president of Lake Point Advisory Group, helps people retire successfully every day. So don't miss Wealth Smart every Sunday at 7 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-600-6316. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-600-6316. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-600-6316. 1-800-600-6316.
Did you know that mammograms actually increase your cancer risk? Living Springs Natural Health offers a thermal scan that can detect cancer cells 4 years earlier than a mammogram. The average cost of a mammogram is $597. Breast thermography costs $195, is non-invasive and has no compression, radiation, pain, or increased cancer risks. This FDA-approved thermal camera can also identify areas of stress in the sinuses, TMJ joints, thyroid, spleen, lymph system, liver, digestive system, breasts, back, and neck. If you suffer from joint pain, Living Springs Natural Health can determine the root cause of the pain and help the body heal itself with nutrition, supplements, if needed, and natural therapies. Julie Clowers and Monica Janes are both board-certified naturopathic doctors. Call them today at 972-722-4668. That's 972-722-4668. Or learn more at livingspringsnaturalhealth.com.
How much of your life are you losing because of pain? I'm Dr. Chad Glines, DC at Genesis Back and Neck, and I really do want to give you your life back.
Hi, my name is Brenda. I had 5 of the lower disc of my back that had herniated and they had pressed against the nerves and I could not move. Hadn't felt my right leg in 8 months. The pain was so bad. Neurologists and surgeons had told me I'd never walk. And then I went back into the office with Dr. Chad and I told him, I've had so many people tell me there's nothing I can do. And he says, I'm pretty sure I can get you out of that wheelchair. And little by little, he got me up walking and it has gotten so much better. I cannot tell you how much I admire everybody in that office.
That just blesses me to hear that. At Genesis, we accept most major insurances, and your first visit will be at no charge. Call me. 817-328-1922. That's 817-328-1922 or online at genesisback.com.
660 AM. 660 AM. The Answer. 660 AM. TheAnswer.com. If it's important to you, we're talking about it right now on The Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to The Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. Security experts say they've discovered some secret backdoor software in some Android phones. That's right. Listen carefully. Security experts say they have discovered secret backdoor software in some Android phones that send users' personal data to China. CryptoWire, the security firm that discovered the vulnerability, confirmed this information on its website today. The firm wrote that certain Android devices contain pre-installed software that collects and sends personal data such as texts, geographical locations to an unauthorized third party. American authorities are unsure of the nature of the secret data mining, but 2 possible theories: that it could be for advertising purposes or to send intel information to the Chinese government, according to the New York Times. Times also noted that international customers and disposable and prepaid phone users represent the most vulnerable to the software breach. Shanghai Adupts Technology Company, which wrote the software, confirmed the code runs in over 700 million phones, cars, and other smart devices. They're watching. This is the Wells Report.
Hey, everybody. Mark Davis from my friends at Viascan of Las Colinas. Simple question. What are we trying to do? Well, Mark, what do you mean? I mean, what are we trying to do? Let's make the list. Eat healthy, lose weight. That's all good. But listen, on that list somewhere, keep aware of our own bodies. Try to fend off heart attacks and cancer by being aware of what's going on inside us. Scan technology exists, and Viascan prices give us the motivation to do the job right. At Viascan of Las Colinas, John Duncan and the crew are there for you at a number I'm about to share so that you can see through the heart scan if you have plaques or blockages going on in your heart. See through the body scan what's going on in various other vital organs, maybe any pesky cancers that are festering there that you can detect early, the virtual colonoscopy, and so much more so we can stay healthy, stay on the planet, stay plugged into life. 972-739-2840. Call them. 972-739-2840 or just Google Viascan.
Ready and reliable, anytime, night or day. When your plumbing's got problems or your drains are clogged, that's when you need AAA. You go to AAA-auger.com.
A few months back, I had a pretty substantial flood spewing from my water heater. AAA Auger Plumbing Services sent a crew out within 30 minutes to fix my problem. Very professional and very courteous. Thanks so much, AAA Auger.
So if you need a plumber fast, call AAA Auger Plumbing Services, where there's never a charge for coming out and no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. Call AAA Auger Plumbing Services 24-hour hotline now at 877-999-1979. That's 877-999-1979. License M37445.
When your plumbing's got problems or your drains are clogged, go to AAA-auger.com.
After shopping lately? Then you know the stores around here are pretty much all the same, with the same mix of brands and models, not to mention all the confusing pricing. Eric Nadel for Savin European Sleep Systems. There's one mattress that's very different. It's the Savin Organic Mattress, designed for deeper, more restful sleep. I should know. I've slept on a Savin mattress for almost a decade. Why buy a Savin? Why would you ever consider anything else? It's simply a better mattress. Savin European Sleep Systems. In Dallas and Southlake, learn more at savin.com.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group. On the NASDAQ as SALM. KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Lacera. More information about a deadly shooting in a parking garage at Will Rogers Airport in Oklahoma City. Police now saying it was a murder-suicide, identifying the victim as 52-year-old Michael Winchester, a Southwest Airlines employee. The gunman found dead in a pickup truck inside the garage.
We have not positively identified, therefore we can't say, is it possible they were a former employee? Yeah, it's possible, because we haven't identified that person yet.
Captain Paco Valderrama.
We have a responsibility to be the voice of millions of Americans sitting at home, afraid that they're not welcome anymore. Donald Trump's America.
Nevada Democrat Harry Reid, the retiring Senate Minority Leader, attacking President-elect Trump for his choice of Steve Bannon as a member of the White House team, calling him a white nationalist. He says if Mr. Trump is serious about unity, he should rescind his appointment of Bannon. Fox News, we report, you decide.
660 AM, The Answer. Listen on iHeartRadio.
Licensed in all states. Product availability varies. Agents may be compensated on enrollment.
This is Michael Medved. I'm here with Mike Stahl from Health Markets, helping folks find the right Medicare coverage. The news reports say that the rates might be going down.
The government projects the cost of Medicare plans will decrease this year. So you have to ask, are you getting the best rate? And Health Markets offers a free service to help folks maximize their Medicare benefits and save money.
The enrollment period for Medicare has already started. What is it people need to keep in mind?
Enrollment in the right plan is not automatic. With so many Medicare options, it can be confusing. My advice, don't go it alone. Get unbiased help to find a plan that may cost less and cover more with lower co-payments, more choices like dental and vision, and the freedom to choose your doctor. With the enrollment deadline only weeks away, it's important to act now. Our Health Markets Medicare service is free.
Thanks, Mike. This is Michael Medved for Health Markets.
For your free Medicare assistance, call 800-351-2054. That's 800-351-2054. 800-351-2054.
The last thing I wanted to inherit from my mom was her varicose and spider veins. Then it happened. Embarrassing, bulgy, naughty-looking legs. Not to mention the pain and swelling. I just couldn't stand it anymore, so I went to Vein Clinics of America.
Vein Clinics of America is the oldest, largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. And for 35 years, they've been the leading expert in the treatment of vein disease. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as an hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by your insurance.
My legs look great and feel great. I even love wearing dresses again.
Whether it's a family gathering or office formal, make sure your legs look and feel their best this fall. Call now and schedule a free fast-track consultation to find out how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Space is limited, so call 800-300-3388. That's 800-300-3388. 800-300-3388.
For everyone thinking of buying a better bed, Reverie brings you the Sleeper's Bill of Rights. You deserve a mattress with dual firmness, custom fitted to you and your partner. You deserve not to wake up in the middle of the night feeling hot and sticky. You deserve a bed that will help tame your partner's snoring, or yours. You deserve a mattress that isn't a breeding ground for dust mites and bacteria. You deserve a bed that will last and never leak air. You deserve great sleep. You'd think any high-end sleep system would give you all these things, but only Reverie does. We're an American company committed to life, liberty, and the pursuit of great sleep. We've helped millions of people sleep better. Call Reverie today for our free guide to great sleep at 877-643-4800. That's 877-643-4800. Or visit Reverie.com.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-600-5920. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-600-5920. That's 1-800-600-5920. 1-800-600-5920.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code 660AM.
Have you ever considered joining the military but stopped because you couldn't deploy to a foreign country? Believe it or not, the state of Texas has its own military force that stands alongside the Texas National Guard, the Texas Air National Guard, and serves only inside the state of Texas. It's called the Texas State Guard. I'm Tech Sergeant John Wells of the 4th Air Wing, and we're looking for you to join us. Give us a call at 877-398-8350. That's 877-398-8350. If you love Texas as much as we do, join the 4th Air Wing of the Texas State Guard.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. This guy out there who is part of the Trump team. He is a very serious guy. Okay? Let me give you some information on him, because we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about Mr. Steve Bannon. Okay? And we're going to find out just exactly who this guy is. All right? And because the left is desperately frightened from this guy, by this guy. I can tell because they're calling him the second coming of I don't know, who is the most notorious leader of the KKK. President-elect Donald J. Trump Sunday chose Reince Priebus, the chairman of the Republican National Committee and a loyal campaign advisor, to be his White House chief of staff. He turned to a Washington insider whose friendship with the House Speaker Paul D. Ryan could help secure early legislative victories. In selecting Mr. Priebus, Mr. Trump passed over Stephen K. Bannon, a right-wing media provocateur. This is according to the New York Times. But the president-elect named Mr. Bannon his senior counselor and chief West Wing strategist, signaling an embrace of the fringe ideology long advanced by Mr. Bannon and a continuing disdain for the Republican establishment. The dual appointments, with Mr. Bannon giving top billing in the office in the official announcement, instantly created rival centers of power in the Trump White House. This, according to the New York Times. That's an opinion. There is one center of power in the Trump White House. That's Trump. Mr. Bannon's selection demonstrated the power of grassroots activists who backed Mr. Trump's candidacy. Some of them have long traded in the conspiracy theories and sometimes racist messages of Breitbart News, the website that Mr. Bannon ran for much of the past decade. The site has accused President Obama of importing more hating Muslims, compared Planned Parenthood's work to the Holocaust, called the conservative commentator Bill Kristol a renegade Jew, and advised female victims of online harassment to just log off and stop screwing up the internet for men. The grassroots activists may be angered by the selection of Mr. Priebus as chief of staff, viewing him as a deal maker who would be far too eager to push the new president towards compromise on issues like taxes, immigration, trade, healthcare, and the environment. In a statement Sunday afternoon, the transition team emphasized the two men would work as equal partners to transform the federal government. The arrangement appeared aimed at ensuring that both men would be required to sign off on many decisions jointly. Mr. Bannon was assured that he reports directly to Mr. Trump, not to Mr. Priebus. The simultaneous announcement and competing lines of authority are consistent with Mr. Trump's management style in his businesses and his campaign, creating rival power structures beneath him and encouraging them to battle it out. The editorial board of USA Today says this: with the appointments of Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus as White House Chief of Staff and Trump campaign CEO Steve Bannon as Chief Strategist and Senior Counselor, the president-elect is keeping voters guessing about which Donald Trump will be running the White House, the deal-making real estate entrepreneur or the flame-throwing Twitter virtuoso. Priebus is the Wisconsin vanilla establishment Republican who published in the 2013 autopsy of Mitt Romney's presidential campaign, calling on the GOP to outreach to all the people. Trump insulted and abused through 2016. Yeah, he sure abused him right in the White House, didn't he? Wow. USA Today, man. Used to be a really good paper. Not so much. Bannon joined Trump straight from running Breitbart.com, the slavishly pro-Trump website favored by white nationalists, xenophobes, and anti-Semites known as the alternate right. Sure. Thus, within days of his surprise victory, Trump managed to both guarantee strife within his White House and aggravate the bitter national cultural divide he's tried to calm since building an election victory by widening it. Bannon, a former Goldman Sachs banker and Sarah Palin confidant, is a politics and media daredevil who reshaped Breitbart.com from the home of politically incorrect bomb throwers across the conservative movement into something rigid and dark. When a Breitbart reporter was allegedly assaulted by a Trump campaign staffer, Bannon loyally threw the reporter overboard rather than be critical of Trump. Oh, sure. Yeah, that's this guy's obviously, man, he's as duplicitous as Deborah Wasserman Schultz, for crying out loud. The loyalty paid off with hundreds of millions of page views. So does its provocations. Breitbart referred to conservative strategist and publisher Bill Kristol as a renegade Jew, which really helped his street cred, by the way. I'm just saying. It's asked whether you prefer your daughter to be a feminist or have cancer. It is said that birth control makes women unattractive and crazy. In August, when Trump hired Bannon, former KKK leader David Duke agreed with a white nationalist radio host that their movement had largely taken over the GOP. Sure they have. Yeah. Here is the opposite eye view by David Horowitz. The losers of the left have worked themselves into such a bizarre hysteria over the fact that they lost the White House that they've lost all connection to reality and are now trying to hype the most ludicrous paranoid fantasies. For them, Stephen K. Bannon is a straw man of the hour. I can't think of anything stupider, says David Horowitz, than the charge coming from all quarters of the left that Bannon is an anti-Semite. I've known Steve Bannon for many years. This is a good man. He does not have an anti-Semitic bone in his body. In his new position as chief strategist in the Trump White House, Bannon is the strongest assurance that people who love this country can have in Americans' future. The strongest assurance that America is in the hands of people who will give this country a chance to restore itself and defend itself against the enemies at home and abroad. Bannon is the straw man of the hour. If it wasn't Bannon, it'd be somebody else. Remember, just because the New York Times published one article calling itself corrupt, that doesn't mean that anybody believed it. And it didn't mean that anything changed. The incredibly corrupt mainstream media is still the incredibly corrupt mainstream media. One of Reince Priebus's first duties after being named chief of staff by President-elect Donald Trump was to defend Stephen Bannon. Fox News characterizes Bannon as a bare-knuckle media executive who led conservative news site Breitbart until taking on the role of Trump's campaign CEO in August. He is credited with blazing a populist path that helped make Trump the president-elect. But his appointment as chief strategist and senior counselor prompted critics to charge that he could propel Trump down a more xenophobic path. It doesn't make any difference whether Steve Bannon says anything. These people will characterize Trump as going down a xenophobic path, not realizing that when they say that Trump is xenophobic for trying to actually enforce American law, these idiots from the left and the mainstream media are saying that American law is xenophobic, which by nature of all law of all countries, it is xenophobic because the laws apply to that country and that country only. You can only have a non-xenophobic law in a country if it doesn't actually apply to the country that it's passed in, which is absurd, which is the point. It's absurd. Look, the left is going to have to they're going to have to get real. It's not just the left. I would say that it's the mainstream political body politic. Republicans and Democrats, business as usual Washington. Those are the people that are going to have to get used to the fact that there are other people now involved in the decision making. Why are they involved? Because of a failure of Republican and Democrat political leadership. Nothing more, nothing less. Outright political incompetence on the part of the leadership of both political parties. The Democrats may not actually survive this epic blunder of putting all their eggs in the Clinton basket. As soon as President Obama was reelected, the Clintons took over the entire Democrat Party. And because Hillary is a leftist, progressive, anti-American thug, the people that she put in place in the Democrat Party were leftist, anti-American, progressive thugs. And the more they talked, the more people went, what are they talking about? Until eventually, nobody cared what they were talking about. Now all they can do is strike back and hope that we, the people of the United States, don't realize that what we're reading about and seeing in the mainstream media is whatever it takes to distract us from the fact that the mainstream media is a corrupt, anti-American, leftist, progressive thug organization right now. The Washington Post. Trump draws a sharp rebuke, concerns over his newly appointed White House chief strategist, Stephen Bannon. President-elect Donald Trump's decision to appoint Stephen Bannon as his chief strategist in the White House has drawn a sharp rebuke from political strategists who see Bannon in a controversial figure too closely associated with the alt-right movement. Bannon, who was the executive chairman of Breitbart News before joining the Trump campaign in August, will serve as chief strategist and senior counselor for Trump. That will give Bannon authority over the strategic direction the White House takes. I will tell you that Donald Trump has a lot of work to do. It's going to require big brains to be able to move it through the chess game that is Washington politics. Bannon will assume a similar role to that of Karl Rove during the George W. Bush administration. I suspect that those two men, Stephen Bannon and Karl Rove, have an awful lot in common. Big brain people that can see past the miasmic mishmash that presents them on a regular basis. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
Just look at them, having a great time. To think 6 weeks ago, I was just installed. All it took was one last spilled drink on their old dingy carpet, and they had enough of him. Thank goodness. They got the professionals at Adair's Fine Floors in here, and just look at me. I'm gorgeous. I'm not just your average wood floor. I take crazy traffic like a pro, and it's all because my homeowners called Adair's Fine Floors. Susan and Richard Adair came in, talked to the family, figured out what their needs were, and helped them find the perfect floor to fit their lifestyle. Adair's Fine Floors has a large selection with free sample checkouts, and they chose me. That's not all. Just look around. The coordinating accessories suggested by Adair's Floors. That rug over there? Yep, Adair's Floors. They offer free design and decorating assistance too, giving the home just the right look. Visit AdairsFineFloorsETC.com to get your home started on the right look for you. That's AdairsFineFloorsETC.com.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, then listen to Mark.
I had fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds, and more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic. I'll be totally honest, I tried a different product, and I wasn't happy with the different product. You guys are considerably cheaper than the other brand, and I can really feel the difference.
Andro 400 Max, the extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe, easy, and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Feel and look like a new man. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, if you're one of the first 100 callers, you can try Transcend risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now, 1-800-600-4133. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so incredibly small and light, you can easily fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. But don't delay. To guarantee your 10-night in-home trial, you must be one of the first 100 callers to call minicpap.com now. 1-800-600-4133. Again, that's 1-800-600-4133.
Timeshare exit attorneys. Do you have a timeshare you want to get rid of?
Yes, I'm calling to see if I qualify for your timeshare exit program. I hear you can get us out of our timeshare for the best deal possible.
Exactly. No matter when you bought your
If you have a timeshare you want to get rid of, call now to see if you qualify for our popular timeshare exit program. 1-800-500-9612. We are the #1 timeshare exit attorneys in the nation because our program gets you out of your timeshare for the best deal possible, even if you're behind on your payments or fees. We've helped thousands of Americans escape the lifelong burden of an unwanted timeshare. So whether you're sick of the fees, sick of the inflexibility, or you just never use it, call now for free information and to see if you qualify for our nationwide timeshare exit program. 1-800-500-9612. Hurry, spaces are limited. Call 1-800-500-9612. If lines are busy, try again. 1-800-500-9612.
Here come the holidays and a holiday carpet cleaning special from my friends at Zero Res. Hey, Mark Davis, how about 3 rooms?
pre-treated, clean, sanitized, and ready for the holidays for $119. And that's not all they do at Zero Res. Drapes, upholsteries, hardwood floors. The $119 for 3-room carpet cleaning special available now, and they're booking up fast. 214-37-CLEAN, 214-37-CLEAN, or Zero Res DFW, ZEROREZ, ZeroResDFW.com. 214-37-CLEAN.
Nearly 200,000 Texans were abused by their intimate partners last year. 74% of Texans will experience abuse or know someone who has. Legal solutions are the only proven, permanent way to break the cycle of violence. Texas Advocacy Project provides free legal assistance to victims of domestic and dating violence, sexual assault, and stalking. Call an attorney and get the free legal assistance you need today. Call 1-800-374-HOPE.
660 AM, The Answer. Now, by popular demand, The Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to The Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. Mark Davis will be here tomorrow morning bright and early. Say 7 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. Why don't we find out what he's got planned in that gigantic, large brain of his? Mark, what have you got planned?
Hey, JD, happy Tuesday night. Tomorrow morning, our Wednesday morning show. Do you know how we know they're in panic? The Trump haters on the left and the right? Well, they're resorting to the last tactic of the scoundrel, the lies of character assassination. Look, after what they did to Trump himself, what made you think they would spare people like Steve Bannon, who does not have a racist bone in his body? These lies will backfire. We'll track that process right in front of our eyes. Transition season rolls on. Join us for our Wednesday morning show. See you tomorrow, 7 to 10 a.m., right here on 660 a.m., The Answer.
Thanks very much. I sincerely appreciate it. We're talking about Stephen Bannon, too. He does not apparently have a racist bone in his body. I don't know what they're talking about. You know, this guy is, I will say that he is certainly a bare knuckles journalist with perhaps a right bias. That's the strongest thing I'll say about him. And so what we're seeing here is we're seeing the leftist media going after Breitbart, who in a lot of different ways did make mistakes. Sensationalist, conspiratorial news articles that Vicky and I found. There was a while we put Breitbart on the bias list. And we were very, very careful about what content we used from Breitbart because it was kind of edging to the point where it was not usable as a credible news source. They have improved over the last few months. I would say, what do you think, about 6 months? A little bit more than that, 6-8 months? They have improved because they realized they were going too far. And so what they ended up doing was, and we ended up being able to use more of their stuff because we were able to check it against other news resources. But the days of using Breitbart, not that there were many, using Breitbart as a single source, or even in some cases the other source, were few and far between. Now, I don't know when that's going to change, but I'll know it when I read it. How about that? Michael Gernbaum, John Herman from New York Times say there's talk of a Breitbart business. There's a Breitbart bureau opening in Paris, Berlin, and Cairo, spots where the populist right is on the rise. A bigger newsroom's coming to Washington, the better to cover a president-elect whose candidacy it embraced. Mainstream news outlets Mainstream news outlets are soul searching in the wake of being shocked by Donald Trump's election last week. But the team of Breitbart News, the right-wing opinion and news website that some critics have denounced as a hate site, is elated and eager to expand on a victory that it views as a profound validation of its cause. So much of the media has mocked us, laughed at us, called us all sorts of names, said Alexander Marlowe, the site's editor-in-chief. And then for us to be seen as an integral to the election of a president, despite all of that hatred, is something we certainly enjoy and savor, as you should. But I will tell you, just as I've told the New York Times and the Washington Post and any other news outlet that is responsible for giving the American people the facts, stick to the people's business, not to the website business. Stick to the news, not to the conspiracy. Give us facts. Leave your opinion at the door. This is the Wells Report.
Hey, it's Mark Davis from my friend Josh DeShong. The real estate world of Josh DeShong sells houses when others cannot. I am living proof. Lisa and I are so thrilled with Josh. He came in and sold our house with blinding speed. You want a promise. You want somebody who's going to sit down with you and say, I promise to sell your house. Most folks won't do this. Josh will. His website is getsold.net, and he is telling you your house will get sold. How does he do this? Well, you call him at the number I'm about to give you. He sits down with you and says, let's arrive at an agreed upon price and an agreed upon time frame. If that house of yours does not sell at that price in that time frame, he, Josh DeShong, simply buys your house. That's it. You're out. You're at closing. You move on. So call him and call him today. Don't waste a day. 972-325-6644. 972-325-6644. D Magazine Best Realtor 3 years in a row. I'll love him forever. Josh DeShong, getsold.net. 972-325-6644.
Calling all business owners. Are you running your business without being incorporated? If you answered yes, you are now eligible to incorporate in just 10 minutes. It's a quick incorporation event from Incorporate.com, designed to save small business owners from the risk of losing everything. Just call this number for your free 10-minute incorporation guide, 1-800-300-8455. If you're not incorporated, it's not just your business that can be sued, it's you too, which means you could lose everything. Your home, your car, even your life savings. That's why small business owners across the country are now scrambling to incorporate during this event. Call now for your free 10-minute incorporation guide while supplies last. 1-800-300-8455. Incorporate.com doesn't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. But hurry and call now while they're still giving these 10-minute incorporation guides away for free. Call 1-800-300-8455. That's 1-800-300-8455.
Want to see what you'd look like if you had a flatter belly? Now's your chance. Because for a limited time, we're giving away free trials of Somabiotics, the new discovery that flattens bloated bellies fast. But hurry and call now while we're still giving it away for free. 1-800-700-6617. Strict limit of 1 free trial per household. These free trials are reserved for anyone, male or female, who's looking for maximum belly flattening in minimum time. Somabiotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. So just think how much better you'll look and feel. Want to see what you'd look like with a flatter belly? Now's your chance. But hurry, call now for details while we're still giving these trials of Somabiotics away for free. 1-800-700-6617. That's 1-800-700-6617. If lines are busy, try again. 1-800-700-6617.
You're here for Relief Factor. I encourage you to give it a try. It's all about getting rid of the inflammation in your body. If you're tired of having your back just ache and ache, your ankles do the same, your toes throb, your knees rebel, then you need to go to relieffactor.com right now and give it a try. It is nature's pharmacy, packaged in an easy-to-use group of supplements that make all the difference in the world. Put down the Aleve, put down the ibuprofen, pick up relieffactor.com. Nature's got an apothecary of everything you need to fight inflammation. Don't take those over the counters. They're bad for you. You can't take them every single day. You can, however, take relieffactor.com. You'll find detailed product information at relieffactor.com, and you get your first order at $19.95. Watch and look at all of the listener testimonials that have come in. Relieffactor.com wants you to give it a try. Learn more about the product and their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. And come one day closer to inflammation-free living. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com.
Welcome to Geico's Motorcycle Meanderings.
Oh man, this is great. Sure saved a lot of money by switching to Geico. Some big savings, and now I can use their mobile app 24/7 for all sorts of stuff. Life just makes sense now. What doesn't make sense is If a highway splits, it's a fork in the road, then wouldn't the long straight stretch be a knife in the road? And then, wouldn't a cul-de-sac be a spoon in the road? What would a spork be?
Geico Motorcycle. Savings that make sense. Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 100 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
If you've got questions, we've got answers. 660 AM. The Answer. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. We discussed this briefly yesterday. Actually, it wasn't brief at all. We took a couple of hours on it, talking about Hillary Clinton and what's going to happen to Hillary Clinton in the future. And what's going to happen in the future was answered today. At least 4 congressional investigations into Hillary Clinton's personal email use and mishandling of classified information are expected to go forward even after the former Secretary of State's election loss last week. The probes, which cover allegations that Clinton lied to Congress about her email practices October 2015, and that the government records were destroyed, are ongoing and not dependent on the election's outcome, according to 2 senior Republican senators. I still don't have the information I need, said Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, chairman of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. Johnson said the work of the committee, with jurisdiction over government records and the mishandling of classified information, would be careful not to disrupt President-elect Donald Trump's priorities. I think it's one of the messages of this election that the public is disgusted with what they see as double standards, when they think people in high places, high government officials, can get away with what ordinary citizens cannot. So I just think it's extremely important to follow this thing through and get all the information and make it public. I agree. A spokesperson for the Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Charles Grassley of Iowa said the answers, not political calendars, are driving the investigations. Senator Grassley has also followed inquiries to their logical end until he feels he's received the answers he needs to be able to justify the questions he posed on the public's behalf. He performs oversight regardless of which party holds the White House, just as he initiates oversight inquiries, irrespective of politics. Both the House Judiciary and Government Oversight Committees have pending investigations that cover allegations of a quid pro quo between a State Department executive and an FBI official over stripping an email of its classified status in return for coveted slots for bureau overseas. Congressional sources and lingering questions about the FBI probe into the Clinton Foundation and pay-to-play allegations must also be resolved. Though FBI Director James Comey sought to close the book on the email case right before the election after briefly reopening the matter. We still have some questions because Comey's latest letter narrowed the scope of their investigation to the time she was Secretary of State. But we're also interested in what happened before and what happened after that. It's this huge. It's a huge mess that has to be cleaned up. So we would be remiss if we just dismiss and move on, said Oversight Chairman Jason Chaffetz. Congressional sources said some committee requests for State Department are over a year old. Others from the FBI, including for a handful of missing interview summaries known as 302s, have yet to be fulfilled. The requests go back probably about a year. I've asked for information on who else, what other high-level administration officials were engaged in these emails. President Obama, among others, used an alias to correspond with Clinton on her personal email, which resided on a private, unsecured server. During a weekend conference call with top donors, Hillary Clinton blamed Comey for her defeat. Clinton said Comey's decision to reopen the email case just 11 days before the election put her campaign on the defense and blunted her ability to make strong closing arguments. You have nobody to blame but yourselves, Miss Clinton. I'm sorry, that's just weak. While Comey announced 2 days before the polls opened he continued to believe there was no basis for criminal charges, Clinton told donors the FBI's decision reinforced a central Trump campaign theme: the system is rigged, and it drove Trump voters to the polls on election day. On CBS this morning, Clinton's former Democrat primary rival, Bernie Sanders, said the failures go beyond the emails. It's not a question of what happened in the last week, so he told Charlie Rose, that's Sanders. The question is, she should have won this election by 10 percentage points. The question is, why is it millions of white working class people voted for Obama, then turned their backs on the Democrat Party? That's easy. The Democrat Party turned its back on them first and had been doing so for years. High school educated white males in this nation have been the whipping post for every liberal, Democrat, anything in the United States. Listen to a leftist progressive and we all ought to be carted off and executed somewhere. You can only be vilified for so long, and then you lose your temper. Justifiably. I believe that the probes should go forward. I believe that Donald Trump should appoint or cause to be appointed a special prosecutor to go back through everything. That would be the email scandal. That would be Benghazi. That would be pay to play. It would be all of it. In the United States of America, you cannot be too big to jail. And that is certainly what Hillary Clinton is attempting to pull off. I just can't believe how many people were willing to support this woman. I can't believe the shameless, straightforward, what's the word? Just plain misleading factoids that were thrown out by the Clinton campaign this entire time. So much lying, so much intellectual dishonesty, so much distortion, so many outright lies. Hillary Clinton has her own email server. She exposes national secrets in a non-secure location when she had a secure location right there. Those people who said she was aiming to avoid oversight. Those who said that don't fill in the obvious blank afterwards. Yeah, she was trying to have communications without government oversight. Because she's corrupt and quite possibly engaged in a criminal enterprise. It's time for us to know. Softening is not what we need to do here. Some people said that I was willing to give Hillary some slack. Not at all. Absolutely not. I think Hillary Clinton belongs in jail. The question is, will the American people sit still to do that? That's still the question. But I keep trying to figure out just exactly why you wouldn't pursue Hillary. Especially considering her conduct in office. You have to know. When you spend virtually your entire life negotiating with people who have negotiated for all of their lives, and not in the temperate confines of the United States. No, this is the arid, hot, unbelievably dangerous deserts of the Middle East. Those people have figured it all out. They know how to live there. And what we need to do is we need to make sure that as we delve into our business, that we don't pursue the duplicitous life that they have. Their legal system is what they make up with in a tribal justice point of view. Is that what we want for the United States? Well, all we have to do is keep playing around with Hillary. We need to find out what happened all the way to the bitter end. We need to reconstruct the 33,000 emails that she got rid of. We need to determine where that information went, if it went anywhere. We have to look at timelines to see whether or not some of those pieces of information that were in that server show up anyplace else and could be timed with a check or two or three or four. The one thing that hasn't really been talked about is the fact that indeed the Clinton political campaign, the Clinton political machine, may have breathed its last. There are thoughts that Chelsea Clinton might run for Congress someday. I don't know that that would be a terrible thing. I don't know where she stands on a lot of issues. But if the Democrat Party is going to have a future, they're going to have to start loving America and really mean it. Tony in Fort Worth, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling just great every time I hear your voice and your comments and your warming heart. I love to this country. Hillary Clinton violated many books. The first one is the Bible. The second one is the Constitution and the law, morality, you name it. This lady belonged to jail, and she will be hanging over Trump's head. I am Trump supporter from day one.
I remember.
But if nothing happened to this lady, the midterm around the corner, and this lady belonged to jail, law and order, which we don't have for a long time in America. It's time to claim it back.
It is.
To have this country great again.
It is. It is. Tony, we love you, man. We love you, man.
I love you too, sir.
We're
God
very
bless you.
thankful. We're very thankful that you join us. Okay.
Thank you. I can see you. Thank you.
Okay. God bless, man. Take good care. He's watching on the TV. Hey, buddy. How are you? This is my redneck look.
I thought that was every day.
No, that's not the same look I have all the time.
Seems like it.
That's not funny.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Hi, Tony.
That's Magic Matt. He can talk to you on the television channel too. All right. 866-660-5759. You're listening to the Wells Report. I want some answers too. I think they ought to pursue Hillary all the way to the end. This is 660 AM The Answer.
I want to tell you about Charles Parrish. Every day, people call Charles with real estate they want to sell. When Charles makes an offer to purchase your real estate, there are no commissions or settlement costs, and he pays all cash. If you have real estate to sell, city or county, commercial or residential, raw land or non-conforming, virtually any kind of real estate, Charles wants to make an offer. Family business for over 40 years, his goal is to make a small profit. He's a principal buyer with a reputation for honesty and fair prices. Call Charles today about your property. Log on to charlesparish.com. That's spelled P-A-R-R-I-S-H, Parish with 2 R's. Or call Charles Parrish at 1-866-474-7000. Get rid of real estate you don't want and get the cash you need. Call Charles Parrish today with details of your real estate. 1-866-474-7000.
Businesses today need collaboration tools that give them simplicity and scale. Take this mid-size accounting firm. It's tax season, which means to keep up, they just signed 57 seasonal employees.
Welcome to the team. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the team. Welcome to
All
the
out
team.
and about, all on different devices, all with different needs. Some need to email and video conference with clients. Others need to instant message and conference with coworkers. All need voice, and they need it right away. With the help of AT&T Collaborate, businesses have the flexibility to start with voice and add more features as they grow. AT&T Collaborate combines voice, video, instant messaging, and conferencing, all in one cloud-based solution, making it easy to use, manage, and deploy, giving your business the agility to have simplicity and scale. AT&T Collaborate. Discover the power of and at att.com/collaborate.
This is Michael David from Seattle. I'm 51 years old, and 6 months ago, I started taking Andro 400 to increase my testosterone. Since then, I've lost 35 pounds of fat, and my waist went from size 38 to size 32. I have more energy, and I look and feel 20 years younger. And now my wife tells me I have to take Andro 400.
Hi, this is Ron Johnson from Utah. After 10 weeks of taking Andro 400, I lost 13 pounds, and my waist went from 36 to 33. That was 8 years ago. I continue to take Andro 400, and I've maintained my weight at 172, gained muscle and energy. I'm 63 now and feel better than I have in 30 years.
Andro 400, the natural way to increase testosterone, lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel great. Try Andro 400, the safe, effective, affordable way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
For everyone thinking of buying a better bed, Reverie brings you the Sleeper's Bill of Rights. You deserve a mattress with dual firmness, custom fitted to you and your partner. You deserve not to wake up in the middle of the night feeling hot and sticky. You deserve a bed that will help tame your partner's snoring, or yours. You deserve a mattress that isn't a breeding ground for dust mites and bacteria. You deserve a bed that will last and never leak air. You deserve great sleep. You'd think any high-end sleep system would give you all these things, but only Reverie does. We're an American company committed to life, liberty, and the pursuit of great sleep. We've helped millions of people sleep better. Call Reverie today for our free guide to great sleep at 877-643-4800. That's 877-643-4800. Or visit Reverie.com.
Hey, what's up? This is Michael Pate with the Newsboys, and it's time for a Love Riot.
It's the Love Riot Tour, featuring the Newsboys, along with special guests, The Afters, and Ryan Stevenson. Sunday, November 20th, 6 p.m. at the Verizon Theater in Dallas. Tickets available online at premierproductions.com.
Brought to you by the DDU Concert Series. Tickets at AXS.com.
Did you pay a lot for that top-of-the-line mattress and it's already breaking down? Time to go to Savin. Eric Nadel for Savin European Sleep Systems. The Savin bed is made with certified organic mattress covers and 100% natural latex foam cushioning, not polyurethane or memory foam. It's more comfortable too, custom tailored for individualized comfort based on your size and sleeping position. Why buy a Savin? Why even consider anything else? It's simply a better mattress. Savin European Sleep Systems. In Dallas and Southlake, go to savin.com.
660 AM, The Answer.
660 AM, TheAnswer.com.
If it's important to you, it's on the Wells Report on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. I am a big believer in the facts curriculum for public schools. Facts. Just facts. Yeah, just facts. Which means that anything that you would be taught, the basic things that you would be taught, and the basic things you'd be tested on would be basic facts. This would allow people to have a real fact basis for their lives moving forward, a factual way of looking at the world. This week, the State Board of Education is expected to decide on whether or not to approve a Mexican-American heritage textbook in Texas high schools that critics say promotes racist stereotypes. According to the critics, the textbook drew widespread criticism for flaws, using stereotypes that suggested that Mexicans were lazy, that Chicano activists in the 1960s were out to destroy society. History professors have also taken issues with what they've called hundreds of inaccuracies. This morning, a group of historians, lawmakers, and students rallied in Austin to urge the board to reject the text. You know, all I can tell you is this. If you're a critic of the textbook, make sure that your criticism is valid. If you wrote a textbook that used racial stereotypes, please immediately resign from the business. We got to start taking this stuff seriously and straightforwardly. It's time to be real adults again. This is the Wells Report.
From Plano to Denton down to Louisville too. Hot-Finds has it. Also in McKinney, we'll prove it to you. Hot-Finds has it.
And in November, whenever you hear or see Black Friday, think Huff-Finds. If you truly want to save a whole bunch of money at both locations of Huff-Finds, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram in Plano and Louisville. Get Texas-size savings on a great selection of new, clearly priced Chryslers, Jeeps, Dodges, and Rams. Plus, Huff-Finds saves you even more with the highest cash rebates and lowest financing available and top dollar for your trade. Huff-Finds is also proud to be the Consumer's Choice Award recipient for Auto Dealership Group of the Year for the 9th consecutive year. So remember, whenever you hear or see Black Friday, think Huff-Finds and all the money you will save. For more, click to Huffines.net or come to Huffines Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Ohio and Plano Parkway in Plano or right off I-35 just north of 121 in Louisville.
The last thing I wanted to inherit from my mom was her varicose and spider veins. Then it happened. Embarrassing, bulgy, knotty-looking legs. Not to mention the pain and swelling. I just couldn't stand it anymore, so I went to Vein Clinics of America.
Vein Clinics of America is the oldest, largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. And for 35 years, they've been the leading expert in the treatment of vein disease. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as an hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by your insurance.
My legs look great and feel great. I even love wearing dresses again.
Whether it's a family gathering or office formal, make sure your legs look and feel their best this fall. Call now and schedule a free fast-track consultation to find out how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Space is limited, so call 800-300-3388. That's 800-300-3388. 800-300-3388.
Here come the holidays and a holiday carpet cleaning special from my friends at Zero Res. Hey, Mark Davis, how about 3 rooms? Pre-treated, clean, sanitized, and ready for the holidays for $119. And that's not all they do at Zero Res. Drapes, upholsteries, hardwood floors. The $119 for 3-room carpet cleaning special available now, and they're booking up fast. 214-37-CLEAN, 214-37-CLEAN, or Zero Res DFW, ZEROREZ, ZeroResDFW.com. 214-37-CLEAN.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio. I'm Jack Callahan. Police in Oklahoma City say a murder at the Will Rogers Airport Tuesday was premeditated. The killer found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in a pickup truck in the airport's parking garage. Oklahoma City Police Captain Paco Balderrama says they're still trying to learn the motive.
We have not positively identified, therefore we can't say, is it possible they were a former employee? Yeah, it's possible, because we haven't identified that person yet.
The victim, 52-year-old Michael Winchester, was a Southwest Airlines employee. The Trump transition team continues to consider names for potential cabinet appointments and outlining administration policies.
A draft document of Trump's potential trade reform plans over the first 200 days says, quote, the Trump administration will reverse decades of conciliatory trade policy. New trade agreements will be negotiated that provide for the interests of U.S. workers and companies first.
Fox's Carl Cameron. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Stimulating talk, 660 AM, The Answer.
This is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'd like to invite you to join me for our talk show every Sunday morning. We're actually trying to convert the world to organics. We talk about the natural organic program for farming, ranching, gardening, and pest control. Also, a lot of talk about health issues for animals and people. Hope you can join us for all the fun.
Make sure to tune in to Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. right here on 660 AM, The Answer. It's Baylor Bears football right here on 660 AM, The Answer. Join John Morris and J.J. Joe as they bring you every bone-jarring hit and sensational touchdown as the Bears compete for the Big 12 title.
Tune in this Saturday as the Baylor Bears battle the Kansas State Wildcats with the pregame at 10:30 a.m. and the kickoff at 11. That's pregame at 10:30, kickoff at 11 this Saturday morning right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my friends at Climate Evangelista Eye Center. And as Thanksgiving approaches, if 20/20 vision is not on the list of things you can be thankful for, now is the time to consider LASIK from Climate Evangelista. And in the spirit of Thanksgiving, feast your ears on this. In November, my friends at Climate Evangelista team up with the Rush Creek Food Pantry to host the Food for Sight Drive to help feed local families. They want you to help. Here's how. Drop 3 non-perishable food or toiletry items to any Climate Evangelista Eye Center location. We're talking Arlington, Plano, or Dallas. Visit LASIKsurgery.com/food drive for a list of items. They'll give you $1,500 off LASIK if you do that. $1,500. 1-800-714-2020 or visit LASIKsurgery.com for details. Remember, Climate Evangelista takes flex spending. They offer interest-free financing, and they have a value match guarantee on comparable technology and warranty. Throw in the $1,500 off and let's go. 1-800-714-2020 or LASIKsurgery.com. Financing with approved credit. Value match restrictions may apply.
Warning. If you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to change the station because there's an alternative to bankruptcy and it could be faster than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to change the station now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could reduce your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now. 1-800-400-6110. That's 1-800-400-6110. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-400-6110. 1-800-400-6110. 1-800-400-6110.
When conservatives unite, remarkable things happen. Hey, Mark Davis and my friends at Patriot Mobile. We have an election that's proof of that, and so is Patriot Mobile. patriotmobile.com/Mark and 1-800-A-PATRIOT to learn how you can move the conservative ball down the field without even thinking about it, just by paying your cell phone bill each month. What have you been doing? Let's check. If you're in bed with Big Mobile, some of your money went to Hillary. Some of it will continue to go to destinations on the far left. If you don't want that, move on over. PatriotMobile.com, PatriotMobile.com/Mark specifically, and 1-800-A-PATRIOT. Call them on the phone, switch on over. They'll give you a free signed copy from me of Lone Star America, How Texas Can Save Our Country. 1-800-A-PATRIOT or PatriotMobile.com. Same quality of service, better prices. Keep your same number. Let's do this. PatriotMobile.com/Mark, 1-800-A-PATRIOT, a conservative cell phone company, and they only contribute to companies that you help recommend. 1-800-A-PATRIOT or PatriotMobile.com/Mark.
If you're a business owner, I want you to imagine standing on home plate in front of a sold-out crowd of 50,000 raving fans at a professional baseball game. They give you the microphone and you have 60 seconds to tell the crowd why they should do business with you. Out of 50,000 people, do you think you might get some new customers? Sure you would. Now imagine you could do that in front of 4 sold-out baseball games. That's 200,000 people. Did you know that's how many people listen to 660 AM The Answer every week? And you have the opportunity to stand in front of the 660 AM The Answer microphone and get 60 seconds to tell our raving fans all about your business. Do you think you'd get new customers if you did that? You bet. The businesses you hear on 660 AM The Answer are knocking it out of the park with new customers. If you are open to seeing how much it costs to advertise your business on 660 AM The Answer, send an email request to advertise@ksky.com. That's advertise@ksky.com. Let's play ball.
Arlington Music Hall presents the Charlie Daniels Band.
Never went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal.
Friday, November 18th, live at the Arlington Music Hall. The Charlie Daniels Band.
And if you win, you get this shiny fiddle made of gold. But if you lose, the devil gets your soul.
Get your tickets now at 817-226-4400 or online at arlingtonmusichall.net. Don't miss your chance to see the Charlie Daniels Band in this very intimate setting. Order now at arlingtonmusichall.net.
You can listen on the go. Find us on iHeartRadio, 660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. You know, I have noticed that I'm extremely careful with my liberal, leftist, progressive friends because I know that they have suffered a stinging defeat. And I know that they are worried about this nation, just like I was worried about this nation if Hillary Clinton would have won the presidency, and therefore I am amenable to being quiet and let the ground stop shaking for these people before I start reaching out and hoping that they talk. I would say that that's not something that we're ready to do yet. Would you agree with that, Justin? Thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report.
Well, thanks for having me. I had the horrific experience of being told I was a ignorant redneck and a misogynist because I voted for Donald Trump, and I was screamed at and told to leave the little cubicle or office that this woman was in, who I still respect, but she obviously hates me now.
Wow.
And we haven't spoken since. And I'm willing to approach her and, politely ask. I did not raise my voice back at her, but I'm perfectly open to. I saw she worked for Ford Motor Company and was very intelligent, or at least theoretically. And I would ask you, should I just keep silent and
Yes.
Not say anything. Let it go, and
yep.
Not even approach her.
Don't do a thing. She's made her statement. She's made her statement. If she had, she said what she wanted to say. I mean, she's in a position here where if you were a polite guy and just had heard what she said about you, would you want to inflict yourself on her? I wouldn't say so.
Well, no, and I didn't. I politely,
take her at her word. Take her at her word and realize you have nothing to contribute.
Which I did. I asked her politely. So you're saying I'm ignorant?
I'm not saying you're ignorant.
No. I asked her this.
Yes. Yeah. When somebody
statement.
Listen. There's a gal.
And then I walked away.
There's a gal I know. Her name is Karen. She is easily one of the most brilliant people I know. And she cannot cope with my points of view on Hillary Clinton and the way this has gone. She is a leftist. She is a leftist progressive, and she is unapologetically so.
Very good.
And there's nothing for me to say to her right now. We've been friends for 30 years. And I expect that we'll continue to be friends in some way, shape, or form, but I'm not going to inflict myself on her. She knows how to get in touch with me.
Very good. I'll leave it on this. Where I worked before with a whole bunch of liberal people, my one ally, who was a Navy Marine test pilot for his whole career, an American Airlines pilot. This was before Obama. This was 2008, and I was going nuts with all my coworkers, and I stormed into his office and asked him, what the heck do you say to these people? He sat back very calmly and smiled and says, you don't say a damn thing, because the last thing you want them to do is vote.
Yeah, well, they're going to vote. That's okay. It's all right. No, the last thing you want to do is you want to stay out of the way. That's what you want to do. You just want to stay out of the way. Believe as you believe. Do as you do as you say. And just stay out of the way. That's really the best thing. That's really it. It's a pity that many friendships were damaged by this. There are a few of my friendships that are touch and go. I don't know how it's going to work. But all I can do is the best I can do. And hope for the very best. There is a bit of anti-Americanism that has to get cleaned up. And Donald Trump is going to have to do it. Donald Trump threw the gauntlet at the feet of some very determined leftists. And they have apparently picked up that gauntlet. Mayor Rahm Emanuel of the city of Chicago reassured the city's immigrants that Chicago is and will remain a sanctuary city. As President-elect Donald Trump said, he will deport millions of people who have criminal records that are in the country illegally. You are safe in Chicago. You are secure in Chicago. You are supported in Chicago. The mayor tried to reassure Chicago's undocumented immigrants that despite the incoming Trump administration, their access to city services, including public schools, will not be affected. You're always welcome in this city. Always. By city ordinance, Chicago police and public agencies who come in contact with undocumented residents are instructed to not contact immigration authorities. That's a violation of American law right there. During his campaign, Trump said if elected, he could suspend federal aid to sanctuary cities like Chicago if they do not report illegals. The simple case of the matter is this. If Chicago chooses to remain a sanctuary city, it will do so without federal funding. The city of Chicago cannot survive without federal funding, and that will leave the citizens of Chicago with an unbelievable tax burden that they will have to shoulder immediately, which is their right, I suppose. Charles Butler is a radio talk show host and Trump supporter. He's looking forward to the president-elect deporting illegals and improving the employment situation for legal African Americans. 52% of black Americans, black men, are unemployed in Chicago. How about we deport people who are here illegally and hire some black American men? How about that? Representative Luis Gutierrez of Chicago says, hey, we're here together as a community, Republican and Democrat, but first, as Americans, we have to defend our immigrant tradition. Luis, we don't have an illegal immigrant tradition. We have a legal immigrant tradition. The only illegal immigrant tradition is what you and your fellow leftists have inflicted on the nation with help from the Republican Party, granted, for the last 30 years. Alderman Raymond Lopez of the 15th Ward said that if Trump administration stops aid to programs that include undocumented immigrants in Chicago, he would support local tax increases to make up the losses. And he should. He'll have to. Go right ahead. Let's see how many taxes, let's see how much tax money your moral obligations can be used to wrestle taxes out of the hands of Chicagoans. The simple case is we either have laws in America or we don't. If you don't want a law to be enforced in America, then you have to overturn it. Not in a courtroom, in a legislature. If you can't overturn it in the legislature, then you need to enforce it. Because that's the will of the people of the city of Chicago. Not a bunch of aldermen and a mayor who believes that for whatever reason that they should just willy-nilly raise taxes to be able to support a foreign influx of people who have no legal status. Rahm Emanuel is saying that criminal aliens are safe in Chicago. The rapists, the drunk drivers, the kidnappers, the burglars are secure in Chicago. The users, the illegal users of city and state resources are supported in Chicago. If I was Donald Trump on the 21st of January, year of our Lord 2017, I would say, okay, here's the way we're going to do it. We're going to cut off all federal funding to the city of Chicago, effective immediately. Because this is a statement that really doesn't require any clarification. There's no reason for Donald Trump to call Rahm Emanuel. Nor is there any reason to call LA Police Chief Charlie Beck. LA Police Chief Charlie Beck says, hey, the department, the LAPD, will refuse to help Donald Trump's deportation efforts. Okay. All right, that's fine. We're going to maintain the same posture we always have, Beck told KNX 1070. We don't make detentions or arrests based solely on status, regardless whether that's immigration status or any other kind of status. Any other kind of status? What if they're drunk? That's a status. You don't make arrests based on status, huh? If the federal government takes a more aggressive role on deportation, they'll have to do that on their own. Oh, okay. Okay, Charlie, fine. If that's what you want, fine. No federal money for you either. This is the Wells Report.
Hey, it's Mark Davis from my friend Josh DeShong. The real estate world of Josh DeShong sells houses when others cannot. I am living proof. Lisa and I are so thrilled with Josh. He came in and sold our house with blinding speed. You want a promise. You want somebody who's going to sit down with you and say, I promise to sell your house. Most folks won't do this. Josh will. His website is getsold.net, and he is telling you your house will get sold. How does he do this? Well, you call him at the number I'm about to give you. He sits down with you and says, let's arrive at an agreed upon price and an agreed upon time frame. If that house of yours does not sell at that price in that time frame, he, Josh DeShong, simply buys your house. That's it. You're out. You're at closing. You move on. So call him and call him today. Don't waste a day. 972-325-6644. 972-325-6644. D Magazine Best Realtor 3 years in a row. I'll love him forever. Josh DeShong, getsold.net. 972-325-6644.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, co-owner of Statewide Remodeling. We all know that winter is coming, and if you've been putting off replacing those old leaky windows, now's the time to give us a call, or you can live with the drafts in your home for another winter. The slogan for the overpriced window companies is only rich people can afford cheap vinyl windows. You know, I agree with that cheap part. Don't go that route, but vinyl is a perfect frame product for Texas. And our restoration vinyl window has a foam-filled fiberglass reinforced frame that is as strong as any frame on the market. But why do they never talk about their warranty? Go to their website, and if you can find anything about their warranty, you'll see it's pretty weak. I won't mention any names, but if you're getting quoted $2,000 per opening, you know who I'm talking about. Go to our website and compare warranties. Then give us a call for a no-cost window evaluation. And right now, you'll get 20% off the cost of your new windows. And while supplies last, you'll receive a free Yeti Tundra 35 ice chest. That's a $300 value with purchase. And by the way, it's made out of vinyl too. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095.
The following is an incredible, life-changing free offer for anyone with hearing problems who wants to start hearing everything more clearly again. We're now offering free in-home trials of a revolutionary hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear to anyone who calls this special toll-free number now, 1-800-300-5440. Call in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also qualify for free shipping and free batteries for life. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers. It adjusts to let you find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And Listen Clear is so invisible, people may not even know you're wearing it. And it's so lightweight, you may even forget you're wearing it too. Don't miss this special life-changing opportunity to hear everything more clearly again for free with a 100% free in-home trial, free shipping, and even free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-300-5440. That's 1-800-300-5440. 1-800-300-5440.
Did you know that mammograms actually increase your cancer risk? Living Springs Natural Health offers a thermal scan that can detect cancer cells 4 years earlier than a mammogram. The average cost of a mammogram is $597. Breast thermography costs $195, is non-invasive and has no compression, radiation, pain, or increased cancer risks. This FDA-approved thermal camera can also identify areas of stress in the sinuses, TMJ joints, thyroid, spleen, lymph system, liver, digestive system, breasts, back, and neck. If you suffer from joint pain, Living Springs Natural Health can determine the root cause of the pain and help the body heal itself with nutrition, supplements if needed, and natural therapies. Julie Clowers and Monica Janes are both board-certified naturopathic doctors. Call them today at 972-722-4668. That's 972-722-4668. Or learn more at livingspringsnaturalhealth.com.
Hi, I'm Larry Patterson, owner of Glass Doctor. In our disposable society, we're conditioned to throw out the whole thing when just one part goes bad. Like when the insulated glass windows in your home get condensation between the panes. You don't need to replace the whole window. The specialists at Glass Doctor can install new insulated glass in your existing frames with a lifetime warranty for a lot less than you might think. To see how quick and easy it is, visit glassdoctor.com today. That's glassdoctor.com.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint. Oh, yeah!
If you're not getting cash back for shopping, you're missing out. Download Ibotta now. IBOTTA. It's the hottest app to earn cash on everyday purchases on groceries, apparel, electronics, restaurants, and more. Just unlock, shop, and get cash. Download Ibotta today, free from the App Store, and for a limited time, get $10 just for trying it. IBOTTA. For cash back every time you shop, you've gotta Ibotta.
Dallas, Fort Worth's home for stimulating talk. 660 AM, The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. LA Police Chief Charlie Beck has turned his back on his job and his oath of office. Because if in his oath of office he said that he would protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, well, he's decided that he is not going to enforce the law of the land. Therefore, why is he enforcing law in this land? This is where people like who live in California, this is where people get what they deserve. You know, they don't have a guy like this. They don't have a guy like this without a plan. I mean, in other words, they wanted him or they do something about it. Beck called any effort to arrest and deport people a monumental task and estimated there are 500,000 undocumented residents in the city of Los Angeles alone. Chief, it's easy. If you don't know how to do it, you need to step aside. There are people that know how to do it. It's easy. It's really simple. Use E-Verify. Have everybody working in LA submit another I-9. That's that form where you prove who you are and prove that you're a citizen with either a passport or a couple of different forms of ID or what have you. Have everybody refile an I-9. Pass the Wells Report Immigration Control Act of 2017, and the whole thing will be over with in 180 days. And you won't have to do a thing. Neither will the federal government. All they have to do is open up a couple of offices for people to go get a work permit in Tijuana. That's it. That's all they have to do. And then what ends up happening is that when federal law is called to an employer for whatever reason, all the proper documentation needs to be there. If it's not, the CEO goes to jail for 6 months. Oh, believe me, this is easy to solve. Everybody worrying about some kind of crazy idea about how it would be impossible to deport 20 million people. You don't deport them. What about the 2 or 3 million undocumented immigrants who have criminal records? Here's what you do. You pass a law It's the Illegal Immigrant Criminal Control Act of 2017. What you do is you add an automatic and absolutely unappealable law. You add an unappealable 20-year sentence to every illegal immigrant who does anything. Spit on the sidewalk, you get arrested for spitting on a sidewalk, we find out that you're an illegal immigrant, you're going to go away for 20 years. 20 years. And you know what would happen? The 2 to 3 million undocumented immigrants who have criminal records in the United States would deport themselves. But you got to start playing hardball. Something you can't really do, can you? You're listening to the Wells Report.
John Truitt here for Simple Sleep Services. Are you ready
John
to
David,
stop snoring and
what
treat
do you
more
want a
sleep
promo for
apnea?
tomorrow?
The Simple Sleep system from Simple Sleep Services is a compact, comfortable, custom-fit solution that's proven to stop snoring and treat your sleep apnea. It's covered by medical insurance, and many patients are meeting their deductibles this time of year. This may mean less cash out of pocket for you and your partner to get the restful sleep you deserve. No mood-killing mask, no pain or downtime. Just a better night's sleep for you and the loved one next to you. I personally use the Simple Sleep system, and I wouldn't go a night without it. Learn more at simplesleepservices.com or call 469-685-1700. That's 469-685-1700 or simplesleepservices.com. For your convenience, we have offices located in both Dallas and Fort Worth. No CPAP, no surgery, just simple sleep. Call 469-685-1700 or go to simplesleepservices.com. That's simplesleepservices.com.
Calling all business owners. Are you running your business without being incorporated? If you answered yes, you are now eligible to incorporate in just 10 minutes. It's a quick incorporation event from Incorporate.com, designed to save small business owners from the risk of losing everything. Just call this number for your free 10-minute incorporation guide, 1-800-300-8455. If you're not incorporated, it's not just your business that can be sued. It's you, too, which means you could lose everything. Your home, your car, even your life savings. That's why small business owners across the country are now scrambling to incorporate during this event. Call now for your free 10-minute incorporation guide while supplies last. 1-800-300-8455. Incorporate.com doesn't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. But hurry and call now while they're still giving these 10-minute incorporation guides away for free. Call 1-800-300-8455. That's 1-800-300-8455.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, if you're one of the first 100 callers, you can try Transcend risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now, 1-800-600-4133. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so incredibly small and light, you can easily fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. But don't delay. To guarantee your 10-night in-home trial, you must be one of the first 100 callers to call minicpap.com now. 1-800-600-4133. Again.
Check. Deep in your heart, are you actually a bully? Would you, for example, bully a self-driving car? It seems as though the chief executive of Mercedes-Benz USA believes that you are so mean and you would be so threatened by a robot-driven car that you would become a bully. Do you think that's actually true? We'll discuss it next time on the Wells Report. Mark Davis, good Wednesday morning, brother. Thank you very much for this opportunity to come by and say that people want to bully robot cars. That's probably not exactly true, but Detmar Exler, who is the chief executive of Mercedes-Benz USA, is saying that he's worried about Mercedes-Benz cars that are being operated by robots within will be bullied by evil humans. Does this sound like a 70s science fiction? Does this sound like a 70s science fiction movie to you? We'll talk about it next time on the Wells Report.
At 817-328-1922. That's 817-328-1922. Or online at mylowback.com.
Do you have a family member who's getting older and can no longer be safely left alone? With Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Senior Home Care, your parents and older family members can continue living at home and not have to move into a nursing home. Experienced, compassionate caregivers provide assistance in hygiene, meal preparation, and light housework up to 24 hours per day at affordable rates. To restore your family's peace of mind, call Visiting Angels toll-free today at 877-374-LIVE or at visitingangels.com.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. The Wells Report. A daily good old-fashioned North Texas barbecue of anybody trying to take advantage of us on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. All right, so here's what we've got here. There are some really stupid things going on in lots of cities around America. And we have talked about it at some level, but Mark Davis hit the ball out of the park with a town hall column called The Diagnosis, Election Derangement Syndrome. You can find it on Town Hall. Mark talks about how the aftermath of the election filled him with peace and gratitude. Several times each day I pause, a small voice reminds him, we've saved America. Our nation will be safer and more prosperous because of the will of the voters. Our Constitution will be spared the savagery of judicial tyranny. Our immigration policies will resist incursions of illegals from the South and terrorists from the Middle East. The people have risen up against a sorry elite establishment status quo and demanded a new direction. Some people are not happy. This is understandable, said Mark. His candidate lost 4 of the previous 6 elections. In 2008, I feared for my country's direction, says Mark. As the Obama years whimper into a close, my concerns have been fully realized. But at no point did I twist off on perverse rants that evil voters had somehow elevated an evil man. I do not recall an urge to take to the streets, to smash plate glass windows, and set things on fire. Were there slivers of America that reacted to Obama wins with inappropriate invective? Sure. But surely they didn't drive multiple nights of sympathetic TV coverage. No one told America to pause to understand the bitterest Obama critics. There arose no safety pin campaign to symbolize protection from this reckless spending, his environmental extremism, his porous borders. If memory serves, we dusted ourselves off and coped. Losing is hard. With my first presidential vote, I tried and failed to prevent the Jimmy Carter presidency. In a 20-year span, I tried to stop 2 terms each of Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. Didn't work? I get it. And this loss is a jolt to millions. If you're a Democrat voter approaching 30, you've never lost a White House. This is a brilliant column. You need to read it. And if you want to, check it out on the Wells Report blog on 660amtheanswer.com. Vicky's going to be putting that up, and you can read it there. Mark goes on to talk about the fact that these entitled kids have put themselves in a position where they simply cannot, and for whatever reason will not, accept not getting their way. And why would they? When it comes right out, when it comes right down to it, why would they feel that they shouldn't get their way? Let me give you an example. Silver Spring, Maryland. Laughingly called the People's Republic of Maryland in more than one occasion, had hundreds of students from several Montgomery County high schools walk out and march to protest Donald Trump's presidential victory. The demonstration began at Montgomery Blair High School in Silver Spring around 10:30. Students at Northwood High School, Albert Einstein High School, John F. Kennedy High School also reportedly took part in the protest. The student protesters marched north on Route 29 to University Boulevard, then made their way to the Westfield Wheaton Shopping Center in Wheaton, Maryland. Police officers were close by as the students marched. Some students held signs that read, "Not my president," as they marched along the protest route. The superintendent of Montgomery County Public Schools, Jack R. Smith, had already raised some eyebrows over letters to parents last week, calling the election particularly difficult and making counselors available for students to deal with their concerns and their feelings. Many students took the cue from a letter saying they didn't want to talk to a counselor. They wanted to send a direct message to Donald Trump. On Friday, Smith issued his letter to parents following the discovery of anti-Jewish messages in a Bethesda middle school. Oh, of course. Smith said his goal in sending the letter was not to take sides, but rather to assure parents that school officials were prepared to assist student process of the election results in a positive manner. No arrests or injuries were reported, which is a good thing. And oh, by the way, there's something else. Let me share it with you. None of these students voted in the election. None of these students, or many of these students, are 18. They have no legal standing in doing what they're doing. The school is supposed to take care of these kids in loco parentis. So they just let the kids wander off campus? No accountability? No accountability. What about the kids? Are they going to be charged a day without going to school? Oh, no. Because the schools are paid on the overall attendance. So what's going to happen is that the schools are going to falsify attendance records. Or they'll say the kids were there and then they walked off later on in the day. And hope that no federal bureaucrat will say, maybe I shouldn't send them all the money. This is fraud. So the superintendent of Montgomery County Public Schools, Jack R. Smith, has a real important thing to do. First of all, he's got to charge the kids with being absent, truant if you wish. And they get zeros for all of the day's work. Zeros. That's what happens when you decide to protest an election you didn't have anything to do with instead of doing your schoolwork. You get zeros. That is accountability. Hundreds of teens, many not old enough to vote, exited classrooms on both coasts, carting signs and chanting slogans against a man they say poses a threat to their future. The students are part of a protest movement that has seen tens of thousands take to the streets in U.S. cities, large and small, after Tuesday's election. Monday's protests happened in Los Angeles, Denver, Portland, and yes, Silver Spring, Maryland. Hundreds of students from about a dozen Oakland high schools walked out of their classes and took to the streets, which is surprising. I didn't realize that there were hundreds of students in Oakland. I thought they were all just teenagers wandering around in the streets looking for trouble. We hope to get our rights and just get our freedom. We want less racism, stop the violence, all of that, said 14-year-old Salvador Briceno, according to the San Francisco Chronicle. We want to get our rights and get our freedom. We want less racism, stop the violence, all of that. We hope to get our rights and our freedoms and so on and so forth. Yeah. Most protesters acknowledge they can't change the fact that Trump beat Democrat rival Hillary Clinton in the electoral vote count. They say they want to make a statement that the Republicans' barbed campaign comments against women, Muslims, immigrants, and beyond aren't acceptable, and Trump's policies have not earned a national mandate. Clinton still leads Trump 48% to 47% of the popular vote thanks to voter fraud. Well, here's what I can tell you. Once again, you get zeros for the day, and you're charged a day of truancy. There you go. You do have free speech. You do have the right to assemble. You do have all of these rights. You do. And when you're looking one way and doing one thing, you have to make sure that you are covered on the other end, or you have to pay a price. And this is the price you pay. That's the one you have to pay, and there you go. And then there's this. I have to be honest with you. I wrote this earlier today, and I was very serious about it. And I'm glad I was, actually. I was very upset with this thing that was going on. It was a column that was written by this woman. And I found it to be truly ridiculous. The person who wrote it was Shaheen Pasha. This was printed today in the Dallas Morning News, and I replied to it. The brown girl in the mirror stood looking back at me, long black hair, big brown eyes, deep dimples. When she smiled, she wasn't smiling now. Quote, "I wish I was white, Mom." That's what she said as we stood side by side in front of the bathroom vanity. If I was white, people wouldn't think I could be a terrorist just by looking at me. Half the country wouldn't hate me because of the way I look, unquote. As I watched the electoral votes slowly tip in favor of Donald Trump on election night, I knew that I'd be having a tough conversation with my two oldest children before they went to school the next morning. While only 13 and 9, my daughter and my son followed the presidential election closely, tried to make sense of the political rhetoric. As children, they couldn't fully comprehend the controversy over email servers or income tax statements. They had little context on U.S. relations with Russia or NAFTA. They didn't understand the impacts of economic policies on working class Americans. My kids' understanding of politics solely revolved around the manner in which people were being discussed. They understood that one candidate called Mexicans rapists and vowed to ban Muslims. They comprehended that the other candidate repeatedly placed a harsh burden on Muslim Americans to stand in the front lines on terror, somehow implying that their main value as American citizens was in their role in the war against terror. For my kids, it was all about race and religion. I replied, okay, so her daughter wishes she was white. Why? Because her mother has raised her in a racist household. The daughter goes on to complain half the country wouldn't hate me just because of the way I look. Where did she learn that? Again, her mother told her. Her mother watched as Trump won the election, reflected that her children understood that one candidate called Mexicans rapists and vowed to ban Muslims. Why do her children understand that? Because mom didn't listen to what Trump said and passed that willful ignorance onto her children. Yes, many Muslims stand on the front line of terrorism. Some face one way, some face another. Many Muslims stand silent or complain about those who notice that while most Muslims are not terrorists, most terrorists are Muslims. That's not racism, that's the news. But this woman is a journalism professor in American academia. How could she possibly recognize the real news? If you go to my website, if you go to my Facebook page, either JONDAVIDVOX or The Wells Report, you can read what I wrote. You can read what she wrote. We put it out there. It's balanced. Just remember, after 8 years of President Obama, after a free and legal election in the United States of America, the greatest and freest nation on earth, little kids that have been taught everything they know by socialists, anti-American thugs, marched in the street to protest an election they had nothing to do with. What would it have been like? What would it have been like after 4 years of Hillary? This is the Wells Report.
Hello, my name is Paul Smith. I'm the owner of Driving Nails Gunsmithing and Shooter Supply. One of the things that we do is complete firearm restorations. We are a full-service gun repair center. We have 2 full-time on-staff gunsmiths. We do hot bluing, parkerizing, color case hardening, anodizing, nickel plating, chrome plating. We paint with Cerakote or Duracoat, hydrographics. And also we have a full machine shop and welding capabilities on site to manufacture many parts we cannot readily obtain. We stock new and used guns. We're also a dealer for SIG, Colt, Glock. We routinely stock Walther, Springfield, Sky, and Phoenix. In addition, we carry ammo, reloading supplies, military surplus items, and also prepping supplies.
For courteous service, call Paul at Driving Nails Gunsmithing and Shooter Supply today at 682-888-2822. That's 682-888-2822. Or go to drivingnailsgunsmithing.com.
Hey, everybody. Mark Davis from our friends at Viascan of Las Colinas. Simple question. What are we trying to do? Well, Mark, what do you mean? I mean, what are we trying to do? Let's make the list. Eat healthy, lose weight. That's all good. But listen, on that list somewhere, keep aware of our own bodies. Try to fend off heart attacks and cancer by being aware of what's going on inside us. Scan technology exists, and Viascan prices give us the motivation to do the job right. At Viascan of Las Colinas, John Duncan and the crew are there for you at a number I'm about to share so that you can see through the heart scan if you have plaques or blockages going on in your heart. See through the body scan what's going on in various other vital organs, maybe any pesky cancers that are festering there that you can detect early, the virtual colonoscopy, and so much more so we can stay healthy, stay on the planet, stay plugged into life. 972-739-2840. Call them. 972-739-2840 or just Google Viascan.
Warning, if you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to change the station because there's an alternative to bankruptcy and it could be faster than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to change the station now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could reduce your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now. 1-800-400-6110. That's 1-800-400-6110. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-400-6110. 1-800-400-6110. 1-800-400-6110.
If you're a business owner, I want you to imagine standing on home plate in front of a sold-out crowd of 50,000 raving fans at a professional baseball game. They give you the microphone and you have 60 seconds to tell the crowd why they should do business with you. Out of 50,000 people, do you think you might get some new customers? Sure you would. Now imagine you could do that in front of 4 sold-out baseball games. That's 200,000 people. Did you know that's how many people listen to 660 AM The Answer every week? And you have the opportunity to stand in front of the 660 AM The Answer your microphone and get 60 seconds to tell our raving fans all about your business. Do you think you'd get new customers if you did that? You bet. The businesses you hear on 660 AM The Answer are knocking it out of the park with new customers. If you're open to seeing how much it costs to advertise your business on 660 AM The Answer, send an email request to advertise@ksky.com. That's advertise@ksky.com. Let's play ball.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online.
iHeartRadio, 660 AM, The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report with John David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
Yeehaw! You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Speaking of people with tantrums, Chelsea Handler, one of the celebrities leaving the United States, tearfully said on her show that she is going to remain in the United States. It's so easy to say throw in the towel and that we're going to leave or I'm going to move to Spain because I want to move to Spain. I really, really want to move to Spain right now. And everyone in my office is like, you have a responsibility, you have a voice, and you need to use it, and you have to be here, and you have to be there. Goldberg told Whoopi Goldberg told viewers of The View that she had been incorrectly lumped in with celebrities who had claimed they'd leave if Trump was elected. Sorry to disillusion you. I'm not leaving the country I was born and raised in. Amy Schumer said that the interview where I said I would move to London was said in jest. Other stars who've talked about moving include Cher, Bryan Cranston, Lena Dunham, Sienna Miller, Samuel L. Jackson. So far, none have confirmed plans to leave the country. Darn. And by the way, Robert De Niro is depressed. Sorry, Bob. The executive producer of the Wells Report is Vicki Stifer. Technical director, conductor of the Wells Report Orchestra is Magic Matt Swing. My name is John David Wells. God bless you and yours. Take good care. We'll see you again tomorrow for another edition of the Wells Report.
The last thing I wanted to inherit from my mom was her varicose and spider veins. Then it happened. Embarrassing, bulgy, naughty-looking legs. Not to mention the pain and swelling. I just couldn't stand it anymore, so I went to Vein Clinics of America.
Vein Clinics of America is the oldest, largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. And for 35 years, they've been the leading expert in the treatment of vein disease. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as an hour with no downtime. And most treatments are covered by your insurance.
My legs look great and feel great. I even love wearing dresses again.
Whether it's a family gathering or office formal, make sure your legs look and feel their best this fall. Call now and schedule a free fast-track consultation to find out how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Space is limited, so call 800-300-3388. That's 800-300-3388. 800-300-3388.
It just doesn't matter how many sit-ups I do. My belly just won't go away. Are you sure you're not just bloated? Bloated? Yeah, some people with big bellies actually aren't fat. They're just bloated. Really? Like me, I totally used to be plagued by potbelly until I got my free trial of New Biotics. It's like this natural new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. You just have to decrease use if your belly flattening results are too dramatic. So it works? Oh yeah. Turns out I wasn't fat, just bloated. My belly flattened and continues to get flatter. So yeah, you're gonna love it. And actually, I think they're even still giving away free trials.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. Find out with a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. But hurry, call now for details while they're still giving it away for free. 1-800-900-1475. That's 1-800-900-1475. 1-800-900-1475.
Eric Nadell here for Savin European Sleep Systems. Why should your next mattress be a Savin organic mattress? It's more durable, no sags, no body impressions. It's more comfortable, a personalized fit for greater individualized comfort, and it's free of harmful chemicals. Designed for deeper, more restful sleep. I should know. I've slept on a Savin mattress for almost a decade. Why buy a Savin? Why would you ever consider anything else? It's simply a better mattress.